time.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited, thrilled, delighted to be here with you to kick the week off. It is officially week one of the college football season. We are going to take a trip back to week 0. I was at the KU game this weekend. Rob was also at the KU game this weekend. I will give you my impressions of their new stadium. And let me tell you, if you are a KU fan, you will absolutely love it. The vibes were high on Saturday in Lawrence, Kansas. We'll also talk about K-State. They got off to an 0-1 start, but the story for them is not on the field. It is off of the field. We'll talk a little Chiefs in this open. We'll also talk a little bit of Royals to get you ready for the week. Before we do any of that, let me remind you guys to listen to the show each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Let me also remind you to tell one friend to check out the show. I would greatly appreciate it. I mean, if you told 2 people, I wouldn't be mad at it. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. If you could just tell one person before Labor Day to check out the show, I would greatly appreciate it. And let me remind you that the open of the show is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place with 5 locations around Kansas City, the perfect place to celebrate the return of football. So if you're looking for a place to stop by, grab yourself a drink, grab something to eat, and catch the games this weekend, I'm telling you right now, the best place to do that is with our friends over at The Other Place. We have never attempted what we are about to attempt. Usually, the open is about one thing. If I'm feeling really frisky, it can be about 2 things. I'm going to try to tackle all 4 of the biggest stories at one time in the open of the show, and you know what? I think we can do it. Why don't we start with the 3-time defending AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs? Because I think it's the least thing to discuss, at least in terms of time and volume. I'm so happy the preseason is over. All I care about in preseason is the wheel of misfortune going to land on you? We saw this offseason, this preseason portion, that wheel landed on the Los Angeles Chargers, as we've kind of seen in the years past. They lost their left tackle, Rashawn Slater. They're having to move pieces around and do this to try to accommodate for the fact that their left tackle suffered a non-contact injury in training camp. That wheel did not land on the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I don't say this in any way to diminish Deion Bush, but if you were telling me from the end of July up until this team heads to Brazil, the only injury that they have suffered is a rotational safety, you came out great when we were talking about the preseason. Andy Reid reported that they have no additional injuries. For the first time, the Chiefs should have their full complements of weapons available when they head to Brazil. You have a healthy, viable offensive line. Isaiah Pacheco looks like he's bounced back in the running back of old. You have Kareem Hunt. I don't know if Elijah Mitchell is going to make the team. We'll talk more about that as the show progresses, but I actually think that he is in line to either get cut or they are going to bring a running back in and he is going to replace Elijah Mitchell. Again, we got more time to talk about the running back position, but you are going to have a healthy Rashee Rice who caught a touchdown on Friday, a healthy Xavier Worthy. Hollywood Brown is healthy right now. For the first time in this entire, this era of the Kansas City Chiefs, they have never had their offense fully available. You've had one guy here, but another guy miss. If everything goes according to plan, and I don't know why it wouldn't between now and next Friday, I believe that we are going to see a fully healthy version of the Kansas City Chiefs, which in my opinion, they're the best team in the National Football League if that is going to be the case. So we have got through the Chiefs portion of this thing. The offseason is over. They got cuts tomorrow. I'm sure they'll make some lower level roster moves, but for the most part, there should not be any Chiefs news between now and next Wednesday. It's quiet time. You get one last little vacation, go somewhere. Hey, it's over. Maybe we get some news when it comes to Rashee Rice, but I'm not expecting it. The offseason portion is now over for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's cut down to a 53-man roster. I think we all know who's making this team and who's not making this team, and it's going to be go time after Labor Day for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's talk about the Royals. I saw Rainey say this, and I thought it was the best description for the Royals. The Royals are good enough to keep your interest. They're good enough to compete for a full 162, but I'm just not sure if it's going to be enough to actually get them into the playoffs. Now, I'm not here to pull the plug. I'm not here to give up on the Kansas City Royals. I've told you guys probably for the last 2 weeks what my hope and expectation is for the Royals. I simply want the Royals to be in it or within striking distance when Seattle comes into town in about 3 weeks or so. I cannot think of many series in my lifetime where the Royals have the team that is directly ahead of them coming into Kauffman Stadium, and they're 2.5 games back, 3 games back, 2 games back. If that's the case, we are going to be talking about regular season games at Kauffman that just, quite frankly, I don't remember. Maybe there was a time this happened in 2014. There certainly wasn't that time in 2015 because the Royals had kind of lapped everybody, and it was clear that they were making the postseason. I can't think of too many series that late in the season that the Royals have that have ultimately mattered. Now, I don't want to make it seem like this weekend's result is the worst possible thing. It's also probably expected. The Royals have struggled against really good teams. They're on the road against maybe the best team in the American League. It's no shock that they lost that series. Now, here comes the hard part. They have to win both of these series this week. You cannot afford to lose a series to the Chicago White Sox. I don't care where that series is. It could be a Kauffman, Comiskey, U.S. Cellular, whatever they're calling that place now. I don't care if you played in front of Lake Michigan. You cannot lose a series to the Chicago White Sox, not when the stakes are this high. And then you come back this weekend, a holiday weekend. I imagine the crowds are going to be there. The crowds have always been there on the weekend for the Royals. This is an important one. It's a holiday weekend. I think the Royals are going to do 30,000 certainly on Friday and Saturday, and they should do well on Sunday with the holiday weekend. You got to figure out a way to take 2 out of 3 from the Detroit Tigers. So that's where I am with the Royals. I was talking to Denny earlier, and we'll play that conversation for you guys coming up at the top of the next hour. We're past the marathon conversation. It is a sprint. We're less than 40 games to go. Labor Day is next Monday. There is no tomorrow, to quote Apollo Creed. You got to take care of business today, and every single day you have to put yourself in a position where you can win 87 or more games. So we'll see what happens with the Royals in Chicago. But if there is one team that the Royals have proven that they can absolutely beat up on and pummel, it has been the Chicago White Sox. Let's talk about the Kansas Jayhawks. I will give Rob a chance to answer this. I certainly want to give him a chance as a KU season ticket holder and alum and lifelong fan. From somebody who is the exact opposite of all of those things. Let me tell you, the new Kansas Stadium, or renewed or revisioned or whatever word they're using to describe it, it's A+. It's perfect for the kind of program that KU is. It's not an 80,000 seat cathedral. It's not one of those, but it feels very quaint. It feels like it is specially made for that city and that program. You could just feel the buzz and the atmosphere. I've been to certainly my share of KU games. I probably go to 1, maybe 2 a year. I love to go to a KU 11 a.m. game. You know, there's not a lot of other good games. Hey, why don't you make the trip over to watch a little KU Oklahoma State? You can get back to Kansas City by 3. Maybe you don't miss anything from all the other games. It's a nice trip to go over there. Lawrence is a really nice place. I'm telling you, you could feel the buzz. You could feel the atmosphere. You could feel the energy. It was A+. If you're a KU fan and maybe you couldn't go to the first one, I'm telling you right now, you will absolutely love the experience. And you could tell how much people loved the new stadium. You also got an energy of the importance of a college football Saturday. I understand that Kansas is a different place and basketball is king. Basketball might mean there than it means more on any other campus in America. But to be in the middle of a college football Saturday where people are holding up the signs trying to get you to park in their yard and pay $60 to $100. You could smell the barbecue. They had food trucks. Everybody's around. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody is celebrating the return of college football and football also being back at Lawrence. It was a really fun experience. It was a really unique experience. I'm here to tell you that KU gets an A+. bang-up job for the stadium, and I'm excited to see how that stadium lights up when they just play more important games. Now, we will talk more about this as KU's season progresses. If their quarterback's going to play like this, they're going to be very, very difficult to beat in the Big 12. I remember I was at the game. I think this was 2 years ago, Rob. Tell me if I'm wrong. KU hosted a game against Illinois, and Jalen Daniels was incredible in that game. And I remember walking out of the stadium and thinking, he kind of reminds me of RG3. Like the way that he played, the way that he handled himself, the way that he moved, he reminded me of RG3. I didn't see that quarterback last year for Kansas. Not very often. I saw him on Saturday. He had a run in the first half, and I was actually standing on the sideline, so I saw it. He was kind of running the direction I was standing. And he got up and he motioned first down in a way and was playing with such a confidence and swagger and emotion of somebody who has obviously done this before, but somebody who was finally healthy and ready to lead. I came away really impressed with Jalen Daniels on Saturday for how he performed. I came away really impressed with Kansas and how they played. And for a game that was 7-7 and you were kind of thinking, hey, this might be a good game. Maybe Fresno State can give them a game. It was not a game after that. KU made great plays. They dominated. The crowd fed off that energy. The team fed off of that energy. And it was an absolute beatdown the rest of the first half and into the second half where KU coasted to a pretty easy win. We'll talk more about this with John Curts coming up in a bit. John Curts covers K-State. I know we were laughing and joking about this last week and just having a little bit of fun because we were having the topic of, can you have a bad Ireland trip? This is a game that K-State fans have had circled for 2 years. You have been planning this trip. I can't imagine going to watch your favorite team, your college football team, play in Ireland. Can you have a bad trip? You're over there, you're drinking Guinness, you're drinking Heineken, you're seeing some of the great wonders of the world. It was bad. I mean, it was real bad. I don't know if you could really play worse offensively in the first half, 3 quarters than K-State did. They turned things around and certainly kind of picked up the tempo a little bit. Like, it got better for K-State. But then the off-the-field stuff. I'm not here to dive deep into the Johnson family dynamics. That's not my place. And we're talking about a college student. I don't care how much money he makes. We're talking about a college student. But of all the distractions that you can possibly have as, let's call him what he is, a millionaire college football quarterback, of all the possible distractions that you could have and all the things that are pulling you in the direction, the fact that on the Sunday after a game, your pops and your brother got to release a statement that basically says we're all good tells you the trip couldn't have gone well. It couldn't have gone well. I'm sure Ireland was an amazing experience. The fact that right now circulating on the internet, there is a fight between the quarterback of K-State's dad and his older brother, and it's not like an argument or a pushing match. I'm talking about they on the ground, UFC, John Jones, Bones, brawl is embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. I don't know what else to say. It's embarrassing. So, A+ weekend for KU, you got to give K-State an F. Like, I know it was a close game against a coin flip team, and sure, K-State can still win the Big 12. Iowa State's going to lose in conference. K-State's going to lose in conference. If we're talking about the day after and the days leading after the game, that your quarterback's dad and brother got to release a statement because they got into a fight in the street and it went viral and they got videotaped, you get an F for the weekend. I'm sorry, you get an F for the weekend. Coming up in a little bit, John Curts is going to join us on the show. We'll talk about K-State and their performance. We'll get back to the Royals coming up in a bit. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Catch Hall of Famer Denny Matthews every Monday at 3.
And gone, Bobby Witt.
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And you can play right now in Missouri. Playing an Underdog is easy. Just choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stat lines, touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your entries right, and you could win up to 1,000 times your cash and play with as little as $1. It really is that easy. So select those Sundays and find which stats you want to go higher than lower than over at Underdog. Download the app today and sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, TAPP. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Don't let clogged drains slow you down. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews ensures your peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob! When your reputation's on the line, you don't leave anything to chance, especially your primer. Painters trust Kills primers for a smooth start, strong adhesion, and serious stain-blocking power. And now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results, faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey friends, I'm Sharon McMahon, host of Here's Where It Gets Interesting. Each week, I speak with authors, experts, and thought leaders on everything from American history and democracy to how to be a better person on the internet. And don't miss my extremely popular docuseries, which educate you on things you never learned in history class. Follow and listen to Here's Where It Gets Interesting on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Welcome back into the show. Coming up in about 10 minutes, John Curts is going to join us on the show. We'll talk about K-State's weekend in Ireland. They lose a heartbreaker. The Big 12, it's just going to be super competitive. Now, I think it's going to cannibalize each other more than likely, but I mean, losing a game against a team that you are probably going to need that tiebreaker with when it comes to Iowa State, a team that, if everything goes according to plan, is certainly going to be there at the end of the season, is not ideal. It's not ideal at all to do that if you're Kansas State. So I don't think that the Big 12 winner is just going to be 11-1 or 12-0. I think you're going to see Iowa State's going to drop a game to a BYU or drop a game like that. But losing a head-to-head game like that this early on in the season against one of those kind of teams, it just puts you at a disadvantage. So we'll talk to John Curts about that coming up in a bit. Preseason / training camp is over for the Kansas City Chiefs. They'll take a couple of days off as they get ready to head to Brazil next week to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Rob, let's talk a little bit of Royals baseball, and then I want to give you a chance to talk about the new stadium for your Kansas Jayhawks. So Rainey tweeted this out yesterday, and I just think it sums up kind of where the Royals are for a little bit. Rainey tweeted out, the Royals continue to be exactly as good as it takes to make us believe, and not one iota better. I'm not here to be negative and down on the Royals. Again, the Royals are still in it, and as long as the Royals are in it, we are going to cover them like a team that has a chance to make the postseason. It's kind of hard to argue with that sentiment. The Royals certainly have a chance. They need a lot of things to align and a lot of things to go correctly, but the Royals are right there. I'm looking at this week as there's not that many weeks left in the season. What are there? 5, maybe 6, maybe my math is off just a little bit. You don't have a whole lot of time left. I think we all expected them to lose the series on the road against the Tigers. I mean, the Royals are 23-39 this season when playing a team that is 500 or better. So on the road against a team like the Tigers, I don't think you go into that series expecting to win. But now you got the White Sox. You cannot afford to lose that series. If you could sweep them, even better. But you got to figure out a way to win 2 of these next 3 games, or the light that is the playoffs, it gets a little bit dimmer. And then next weekend at Kauffman Stadium, I don't care how, I don't care who is on the mound for either team. If you're in this thing and you want to continue to show us that you were in this thing, you got to figure out a way to win a series at home against the Detroit Tigers. There is little room for error. There is no room for excuses. It is simply go time, go get it done, or play out the rest of the string and we all move on to football. That's kind of where we are right now with the Royals.
I feel like, and I was talking about this with Cody Tapp and Alex Gold earlier today, and Gold is of the impression that they'll stay in the race in the year. That doesn't mean that they're going to make the playoffs. They will stay in the race. I think that's the proper way to look at the Royals. There is going to be a time in September, like the 18th or 19th, where we on this show are still going to be talking about Royals baseball. Not just because, oh, look, it's an afterthought and they got hot in September. Actual Royals conversation will be happening to the end of the season because they will remain in the race. But series like the Tigers series, I think it's fair to look at and say, it gives you real reason to doubt they will overcome and make the postseason. You're right. It wasn't a must-win series, and losing the series to the Tigers isn't some nail in their coffin, but it would be good maybe for the fan sentiment, the fan peace of mind, if they went from 22-37 to suddenly they win a series or 2 against a winning team. And then you felt like, oh, not only are they going to go to the postseason, they might make some noise when in there. But right now they feel like if they get in, it'll get through the back door. And if they don't get in, we'll know the reason why. They had a chance to change the narrative a little bit this weekend, and they fell short. And I know they were close on Friday and Saturday, but in baseball, it's not, oh, you were close, so we give you the benefit of the doubt. You either do it or you don't. And right now they've come up a little bit short. And it's just bad for, public sentiment that has continued to happen.
Do you think it's possible to be hotter than Vinny Pasquantino is right now? The last 14 days for Vinny. They played 13 games. He has 8 home runs, 21 RBIs. He is hitting .320. Has an on-base percentage of .350 and an OPS of 1.232. Do you think it's possible to be hotter than Vinny is right now? Because it is perfectly lined up with what the Royals need. You need him to continue that for the final 34, 35 games left remaining this season. Like, you need Vinny to continue to stay hot and continue to be a run producer and a guy that just brings in runs. I was talking to Denny about this earlier. We'll play that for you coming up at the top of the hour. I just asked him, hey, just tell me a little bit more about Vinny. What are you seeing? He said it quite simply. He's just a guy that can drive in runs. And the Royals, just in their organization, they don't have a whole lot of those guys. And when you're going to be behind a Bobby Witt Jr., you know what you desperately need? Somebody that can just drive in runs. And Vinny has shown you that. When he's been healthy, when he's been good, he has been a guy that quite simply can just drive in runs. I'm sitting here looking at it right now. Over the last 365 days for Vinny Pasquantino, 29 home runs, 93 RBIs. He's hitting 260 with a 320 on-base percentage. You can live with that. You can live with that. That's what you need. You need more of that. You need more of that Vinny Pasquantino helping to carry you offensively. But right now, Rob, that's where I think we are with the Royals. This is a very, very important week for the Royals. And at this point, you cannot afford to lose ground, especially not at home and especially not to the Chicago White Sox, a team that you have pretty routinely pummeled over the last handful of years.
I'm looking this up real quick because the Royals were actually lucky. You never want to lose a series over the weekend, but they lost series to the Tigers. The Mariners didn't gain a lot of ground, despite the fact the Mariners were playing the Athletics. Now this week, the Royals get the White Sox, who are bad. In the meantime, the Mariners get the Padres. The Padres are one of the best teams in baseball. Now, I am not really a schedule game type of person in baseball. It's 162, but when you're in the final 34, it's time to start playing the schedule game. And if you're a Royals fan, you go out, you win the White Sox series, you hope the Padres, who are probably more talented than the Mariners, go out and win their series, and suddenly you go from 3 back to 2 back, or maybe 1 back, or maybe the Red Sox and Yankees drop some games. So you're kind of in the thick of wild card 2 and wild card 3 race. Like, the Royals, the schedule was rough for them over the weekend, but now it's time to take advantage of a team that you just swept. No one's asking for a sweep, although that'd be great. You just swept this team. Go win and hope the Padres take care of business, and you could be in a really good situation come Friday with a Friday night series at home against the Tigers. It could be a really fun weekend at Kauffman Stadium.
All right, I know we got our guy John Curts coming up in a bit. Rob, I want to give you the space to talk about your alma mater. You guys did something pretty cool. I can't even hate. I wish that I could hate. I wish that I could come on here and throw a little shade at the new KU Stadium. The portion that is done is fantastic. Now, they're going to do the other side. The other side, I mean, it's still the old structure. It still feels a little bit outdated on that side. They were very specific. That's where the students are. There ain't no money over on that side. The money is on the other side. And I'm telling you, it's nice. The lights, the seats, the view, all of it is nice. The concourse, everything was A+. I really, really enjoyed the experience. But I'm coming at this. I'm an outsider. The next time I plan on stepping in that building, I plan on leaving with a dub because Missouri's going in there to hurt feelings next fall. I don't know if I'm going to be back in that building. Rob, you will be. What'd you think?
I was in absolute awe. And we had Michael Sway on the show Friday, and he said he had done the tour. And I remember the quote he used. He said, "It is perfect down to the little details." And that's how I felt. I am not a get in the stadium early person. I'm usually a, hey, get in there, national anthem, team takes the field, let's football. I like to have a nice tailgate. That's how I get down. I was waiting at the gates because everything you had heard about the stadium was you have to see it to believe it, all the things. I walked around the new portion, which is, for those of you who are not KU fans, basically three quarters of the stadium. I walked around each concourse, the bottom level, the top level, the middle level. I was absolutely in awe. I have heard great things. It absolutely 110% lived up to the hype. It did, as you said, create actually a good game day experience. They won't have that Friday against Wagner, but there's no reason why with that stadium and an interesting football team and a crowd that shows that they care if there's a reason to go out there, they can't have a good crowd and a good environment for most of their conference games. And maybe for the first time in my life, Kansas has a true home field advantage, and it feels like what they have is unique to Kansas as opposed to cookie cutter in college football 2K build a stadium vibes.
It just had a real atmosphere. Like, that's the one thing that I can't really undersell about how Saturday felt to be in attendance. You could feel it. You could feel the momentum. You could feel the buzz. You could feel the excitement from the people that were there. It's been a long time since KU has had a home football game. They didn't have a home football game at any point last season because of those renovations. So a lot of that's kind of pent up. I think KU actually ends up making a bowl game last year if they end up playing home games, but I understand why they didn't have a home game last season with the renovations and everything that were going on. So you could just get a sense that, man, people were just happy to be back. People were just excited to be back and to be in attendance and to see everything that comes associated with the first game of the college football season and also unveiling and opening up a new stadium. So it really was a cool experience to be there on Saturday as KU won their first game of the season against Fresno State. Coming up momentarily, we'll be joined by John Curts. He covers the Kansas State Wildcats. We'll talk more about their Week 0 game to kick off the season against Iowa State. John, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. I was just reflecting here as I'm waiting on hold about how you always have me on when something bad happens. I don't know. Can I come on when K-State does something good? Like, is that a thing? Am I just the bad guy? Have I accepted that role now?
I mean, John, you would have been on whether they had won or lost the game. It's not my fault that they lost. We were going to have you on regardless.
I feel like it was like all basketball season. They ripped off that winning streak. They beat Kansas. That's your favorite thing, seeing Kansas lose. I couldn't come on then. I had to come on when it was drama and Doug McDaniel stuff going on. I just feel like that's always my role here.
Okay, you know what? That's fine. If you want to talk about drama, let's just start with this. When was the last time that you got into a fight in the middle of the street?
Oh, that's brutal. I walked right into that one, didn't I? Yeah, that was not good. I have not. I'm sure this will come as a surprise to no one, Carrington. I have not been in a fist fight in my life. That has not happened.
The whole thing about it is, I don't think this would be that big of a story if they had just got into a verbal altercation. I don't even know if it's that big of a deal if it's just like a single shove. Emotions happen. I mean, this was like an all-out brawl on the ground, had to be broken up. I mean, if you're somebody who believes in distractions, I don't know if there can be a bigger distraction than the quarterback's dad and brother got into a fight, not against the ops. They got into a fight with each other after a loss.
Yeah, it's not great. Not the best weekend. K-State loses in a game that should have been a home game when, close game, two pretty evenly matched teams. Sure would be nice to have a home crowd to help get you over the top there. Iowa State fans get to go take a sweet trip to Ireland, watch their team win, get arguably their toughest Big 12 game out of the way already. And then, after the game, you got to deal with all the drama that comes from that. I would say, at least as far as the distraction part of it goes, they did a nice job. I'm assuming a lot of this is the work of K-State's PR team, but they did a nice job getting that statement out there pretty fast to at least try to put as much cold water on it as you possibly can. But, as we know in today's day and age, like, the video is what kills you. Like, there started being rumors spreading like an hour after the game that some kind of incident had happened, whether there was an arrest or not, which there was not, as it turns out. But, man, once the video gets out there, that's when it catches on like wildfire. Everybody's looking for clicks. Everybody's looking to spread it around everywhere. So you just saw every single little college football burner tweeting about that. And, you certainly could let it become a distraction. I think it'll be a real test of this team dealing with a tough loss. I will say Chris Kleiman seemed like he was in a good mood at his press conference earlier today. Hopefully that's true for the rest of the team. Avery Johnson's a pretty mature guy. Say what you will about what's happened with him on the field. He handles himself really well off the field in interviews. Like, I don't imagine it will be too much of an issue with him, but it's not something that you want to deal with. You would certainly prefer not to.
Right now, we're talking to John Curts. He is the host of the Three Mall podcast, talking about K-State and their weekend in Ireland. What went wrong for the offense the first 3 quarters of the game? And eventually in the fourth quarter, both offenses started to pick things up a little bit. What was the issue early on in the game? What changed late?
Well, yeah, this is what kills me about this. I saw everybody, all your SEC buddies, Carrington, getting their takes off there in the first half about, this is what happens when you send the Big 12 over there to play this game or whatever. Guys, let's all realize this is the first game of the season. It was being played overseas. The team showed up on Wednesday, right? Like, they're dealing with like a 6-hour time difference. Probably just so many variables. You're playing a conference rival that knows you inside and out. These teams are very similar. They know each other inside and out. Then you throw in a rainstorm, and they can barely keep the chalk, like the lines on the field for you to see anything. It's horrendous conditions. Like, what do you expect for the first game of the year when teams are breaking in everybody against somebody they know in horrible conditions? Yeah, you were going to get some sloppy football. And then the second half, rain stopped, and they started to figure some things out, and we got a really exciting football game with 31 points combined in the last 16 minutes, 24 points combined in the fourth quarter, and that doesn't include Iowa State basically scoring a touchdown there at the very end of the game. So I actually thought it's a pretty good football game between two teams that I think are relatively evenly matched. So that's a lot of it, man. I mean, go back and look at K-State's game at Houston last year. That was kind of the linchpin turning point game of the season. They were 7-1 before that. Seemed like that would be an easy win. And they played it in a downpour the entire game. And Avery Johnson threw a back-breaking interception. They were really struggling doing much of anything, throwing the ball. It just looked like in the first half, both quarterbacks, but especially Avery Johnson, were having a really hard time gripping the ball. I mean, he couldn't get much on those throws, and then receivers obviously were having trouble catching it. I think that was, compounding on both sides. Like, Iowa State had a lot of key drops. And, I don't know what Iowa State was thinking from the 1-yard line running a toss sweep in those conditions, but they tried it, and it didn't work, and it turned into a fumble. So, shaking out the kinks, bad weather, bad conditions, having to kind of feel each other out against an opponent that's really similar that you played a bunch of times. I think, to me, that's basically what you got there.
Right now, we're talking to John Curts, going back over the K-State game from this weekend. John, I'm a big believer that football games are usually determined by 5 to 8 plays that happen throughout the game. Like, there's those pivotal moments where if you make the play or miss the play, it determines whether or not you win or lose. Can you really boil this game down to fourth down conversions? One team was better at fourth down than the other team?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think that's exactly where I would put it. Like, to me, the big picture takeaway from this game to me is that K-State looked a lot like they did last year to me, where relative to the rest of the Big 12, they've got plenty of talent. I think they're a good team with a lot of athleticism. I don't know that they have enough of an edge to make the plays like that when they really need to. And Iowa State has that. We could debate who's the more talented team. It felt like I think K-State is probably a little more athletic than Iowa State is. But Iowa State's got some grinders, man. They're a little grittier, and they've got an edge, and they make those plays when it really counts. Even the quarterbacks, if you look at the two quarterbacks, and I know Avery Johnson took a lot of crap in the first half. I think some of that is because, it's not his fault, but the hype for him has been so high each of the last 2 years. But by the end of the game, the guy had a great line. And if you look at any metric, he outplayed Rocco Becht. I was just going through and looking at this. If you go by NFL passer rating, Avery Johnson was 117, Rocco Becht was 94. 117, if you look on the grading scale of that, is an excellent performance. Pro Football Focus, Avery Johnson was an 85, Rocco Becht was a 69. You'll look through the stats on the traditional stats guy. Avery had almost 100 yards more passing. He had 20% higher completion percentage. They were even in touchdowns and interceptions. But when Avery Johnson has a 4th and short and he's trying to run for it, he's just a little timid and he gets knocked back. And say what you will about the spot, I think it was a bad spot, but then you got to leave no doubt there, and he didn't. Very similar position, Rocco Becht in a 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter is running like an option play, and all Big 12 safety VJ Payne crashes down on him. Rocco Becht lowers his shoulder, dives forward, and gets the first down by like a yard and a half, 2 yards. So that's kind of your difference right now. There was a 3rd and short. Avery Johnson had a tight end in the flat where he kind of threw it behind him, didn't allow him to run and get the first down, didn't lead him. They didn't get the 4th and short. Rocco Becht has the 4th and 3 at the end of the game. Guy in the flat hits him right in stride. Carson Hansen ices the game. That's kind of the difference there. Is Iowa State made those plays. I think they have a team that is more apt to do that right now, and that's kind of why Iowa State is really. It's tough to argue with 5 of the last 6 that they've beaten K-State. They've kind of surpassed them as a program right now, and I think it's basically on that. I don't think they're more talented.
I'll get you out of here with this. We're up against it. This is obviously one of those kind of coin flip games that you need in the Big 12. Still, obviously, a lot of football to go. This one game does not define on whether or not you're going to win this league, but now you probably got to steal one somewhere else. What game in conference play now becomes even more important that K-State has to win because they lost to Iowa State?
I would for sure point to Baylor. So what's going to happen now is you've had 3 straight years of K-State with a lot of hype coming off the Big 12 championship. They've been the preseason favorite or one of the preseason favorites each of the last 3 years. Now they're going to fade. Everybody just watched them lose on a national stage. They're going to be forgotten about for a while. They're going to play North Dakota, Army, and then go to Arizona on a Friday night. They're not going to be in the public conscience when it comes to teams that are contending. What happens then after that, a month from now when you go to Waco? I think Baylor's going to play for a Big 12 championship. I'm really high on Baylor. I think they're one of the prime contenders. That's going to be a very, very difficult game and one that I had penciled in as a loss before the season. But now, you have no room for error. Like you can probably, I guess you could drop one the rest of the way and probably still be in contention for a Big 12 championship, but that's about it. I think that Baylor game is going to be huge, and that's what I'll look for. If they get the next three, which they should, but if they do rebound to do that, you got to go prove it in Waco that you can win that one.
That is our guy, John Curts, joining us on the show today. You know what? The next time we'll have you on the show will be after the Arizona win. How about that? Let's go ahead and pencil that, because I'm telling you right now, if you come on the show after North Dakota or Army, it will not be because of good news. It will be because something went terribly wrong, if that's the case.
If they lose to Army, dude, I'm refusing to come on the show. I will not. I'm going to just say that right now. Rob, don't call me. Lose the number if they lose to Army, okay?
That is our guy, John Curts, joining us on the show. John, we appreciate you.
All right, take care, boys.
Absolutely. That's John Curts joining us on the show. Coming up on the other side, if you thought the K-State weekend was bad, the weekend that the Sanders family have, I'm not sure if it was much better. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
We have a brand new holiday for all football fans. It's FanDuel Futures Day. That's tomorrow. It's 24 hours of deals on all of your football season predictions. So take a flyer on who you think will win NFL MVP. You know what? I'm taking Jordan Love. Crown a champion in August. Can Kansas City get back to the big game? Or you can parlay your division winner dark horses. I like Tennessee to surprise some people this year in the AFC South. Mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, and your odds. You got one day and one day only to take advantage of FanDuel's Futures Day. All you need to do is visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now. FanDuel, play your game, the official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
If you've started thinking about what to wear this fall, your timing is perfect because Macy's Fall Preview event has early deals on looks everyone will be wearing. Romantic dresses from BCBG and Avec Les Filles. Western-inspired boots and bags from Steve Madden, all 25% off. Plus, take 15 to 25% off fall beauty from Yves Saint Laurent, Estee Lauder, and Clinique. Don't wait. This fall preview won't be around for long. So come into Macy's today. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know in making the most of your home, DIY doesn't just stand for do it yourself. It also means dream it yourself. And we're here to help protect the dreams you're building. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing a schedule, and responding to Jim's long emails. Leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob! Expect a high of 75 with partly sunny skies this afternoon.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
Follow the station on Instagram @thefan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
We'll catch up with Denny Matthews, the Hall of Fame voice of the Kansas City Royals, coming up at the top of the hour. But the preseason is over. Every team in the NFL, they have to have their roster down to 53 by tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So let's get to some of the top stories as the preseason is wrapped up, and we're waiting to see how the 53-man rosters shake. I remember a coach told me this a long time ago, that coaches don't cut players. Players usually cut themselves by something. Not playing hard enough, not giving enough effort, not being a good enough teammate. Whatever it is, usually why you didn't make the team is your fault. Now, Shiloh Sanders, he's not the one we spend a lot of time talking about. We spend a lot of time talking about his pops. We spend a lot of time talking about his younger brother. We don't really spend a lot of time talking about him. But he's a decent player. Undrafted guy, but getting a shot in the National Football League. He's on the field. Every rep matters. When you are an undrafted player, your margin for error is zero. Nada. You cannot mess up. They are looking for reasons to replace you. This man punched somebody during the game. During the game, just hauls off, punches a tight end for the Buffalo Bills. Man, they cut him before he went to the showers. I'm serious. Instantly. You're done. You can't operate that way when you were on the margins. Travis Kelce last year, remember when he was just punching people? He punched like 2-3 people in training camp. You can do that when you're a first ballot Hall of Famer. When you're an undrafted rookie who's 3rd and 4th on the depth chart and every rep, everything you do matters, you can't be out here willy-nilly just punching folks. I mean, just nonsensical. My brother, come on now. You got to tighten up, man. It's that simple. This doesn't have to be the end. I do think Shiloh lands on somebody's practice squad. I think he gets another opportunity, but my brother, come on now. It's nonsense. You know you can't do that. That's silly. All right, you know that. Let's talk about his brother. I don't know why we do this with people. I don't know why Shedeur makes people so crazy. I don't know why we have wrapped up all of this conversation to a good college quarterback. I at least understood it with Tebow. I did. Heisman Trophy winner, national champion. Tim Tebow was one of the 5 best and most accomplished college football players that we had ever seen. It also became much bigger than that. It became religion and race and all these other things. Like, I at least get why Tebow made people feel the way that they felt. I don't get it with Shedeur. I really don't. I think Shedeur is the prototypical mid-round draft pick. And we all are at fault. All of us. From Mel Kiper all the way down to me, to you. Everybody is a suspect and culpable in this entire thing. We've all been ridiculous. We saw in one preseason we saw why he is an NFL quarterback. Raw, underdeveloped, but you cannot deny against Carolina, he played well. You could say it was against second and third strings. I mean, that's what preseason is. He played well. He deserved another shot at getting more time, more reps, more opportunities. He got that this past weekend. He was terrible. He was 3 for 6 for 17 yards passing. He took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sacks. If you were going off total yards, he was a negative. Like we're talking basketball plus minus. He was a negative in yardage. That's why teams passed on him. Some of the conversation I've heard over the last couple of days is just nonsense. You want me to think, I'm serious, you want me to think that there is a capable NFL quarterback out there who's 22 years old. And you want me to believe that the league conspired to keep that guy out of the league to make a point? That's what people are trying to convince me. You want me to think that the team that actually drafted him, all these other teams didn't draft Shedeur. You want me to think the team that actually drafted him now wants to sabotage that player. What's going on here? Are we listening to ourselves? We can't be that bored in August. I know we all want football to be back. It's right there. We can't be this hard up for content talking about Shedeur this way. It's nonsense. Some of the talking points and back and forth around Shedeur are nonsense. He is a mid-round pick prospect. It might work. It might not work. But we saw in one preseason why he can be an NFL quarterback. We also saw how remove the watch, remove the SoundCloud page, remove who his pops is. At some point, you got to put those pads on and you got to stand in between the white lines. And I think we saw why some teams were like, nah, we're good. You can't see based on what we just saw why teams would just, based on the football player that he is, just say, no thanks. This game is about getting the ball in your hands. Quick, move, quick. He doesn't move quick. He's not super athletic. He doesn't have great arm strength. So if you don't have great arm strength and you hold on to the ball too long, that's a bad combination, which leads you to fall down draft boards and teams to pass on you. So I know things didn't go great this weekend for Avery Johnson and his family. I know they didn't go well. It could have been way worse. It could have been way worse. You could have been the Sanders family. They had an even worse weekend than what we're talking about. We'll get to Denny Matthews coming up in just a bit, but I want to play this for you and remind you that it always works itself out. Terry McLaurin, he just signed a new contract in Washington.
Tom Pelissero here with some breaking news into the NFL Network newsroom. Terry McLaurin and the Commanders have a deal. The two-time Pro Bowl wide receiver and Washington agreeing to terms today on a 3-year contract extension that is worth up to $96 million. McLaurin gets a $30 million signing bonus, a significant raise from the roughly $19 million that he would have been due in the last year of his existing contract. And with upside in incentives, he can earn over $96 million in new money, which is one of the biggest totals ever for a 30-year-old wide receiver. So after a lengthy hold-in that was influenced at least somewhat by a lingering ankle injury, McLaurin now has not only begun the ramp-up period to be back onto the field, but now has a deal. He will remain a Washington Commander, one of the locker room leaders on that team, and one of the most consistent wide receivers in the NFL. Terry McLaurin staying in Washington on a 3-year extension worth up to $96 million.
I know sometimes that you guys get mad at players. Well, you signed the contract. You got to show up. I get it. I mean, I want them at practice too. It's the best thing for everybody. What's that saying about the squeaky wheel? Like, sometimes acting this way is the only way to get what you want. Terry McLaurin wanted a new deal. Guess what? He's now the 6th highest paid wide receiver in the National Football League. James Cook was mad and unhappy all offseason. He then got the money he wanted from the Buffalo Bills. Now, everybody can't do this, but for the most part, pouting, complaining, voicing your concerns as a very talented player who is very important to the winning for your team usually get you paid. Sometimes just sitting back and letting your agent handle it and not saying nothing, sometimes that ain't the best course of action of taking care of yourself and your family and your peoples and making sure that your money is right. So congratulations to Terry McLaurin. Again, he is now the 6th highest paid wide receiver in the league. The only wide receivers who make more on a yearly average than him are Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. You did that. Congratulations. You're set. You deserved it. I mean, I wouldn't pay you like a top 10 guy, but I understand that business is business. And if you're Washington and you're trying to get to the Super Bowl this year, you could not do it without Terry McLaurin. You know what that is? Leverage. And you use that leverage to go get paid, just like Terry McLaurin got paid. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to the Royals. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Football is back. Labor Day is around the corner, and Hy-Vee is ready for fall. Stock up on all your fall favorites during the gigantic 3-day sale this Friday through Sunday. Invite your friends and fire up the grill with Bar S Franks just 98 cents a pack. Doritos chips just $2.99, Pepsi 24-pack cans for $10.99, and Brew Pub Pizza just $4.99 each. Let's go, you fans of fall. Rush to the gigantic 3-day sale this weekend only at Hy-Vee.
I love saving money, and Hy-Vee is always finding new ways to save me some dough, like the new lower prices in every department, and one of my favorite things, the fuel savers. Just the other day, we saved $1.10 per gallon on gas with the fuel savers at Hy-Vee. I love going up and down the aisles and seeing those fuel savers, getting those products, and saving that money. Don't miss the special fuel saver deal on Monday, August 25th. Stock up your cart and earn stackable fuel savings on every dollar you spend. The more you spend, the more you'll save, only at Hy-Vee.
Missouri, get ready! DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. Later this football season, you'll be able to bet same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more right here in Missouri. Whether you're backing Kansas City to dominate on Sundays or sweating your basketball picks, DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you want to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. And when we go live in Missouri, you'll be betting from home with the top-rated sportsbook trusted by millions. Safe, secure, and ready to deliver the action like never before. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 965 now to gear up for launch in Missouri. Be the first in line for exclusive promos and can't-miss offers. That's code 965 in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements.
How about those Chiefs?
Chiefs Kingdom, for the first time ever, the Chiefs play on Red Friday. Get ready for a kickoff like no other with our limited edition, one-of-a-kind How About Those Chiefs flag available on Friday, September 5th at KC area McDonald's for $5 or shop.chiefs.com for $10, benefiting Ronald McDonald House Charities of Kansas City. For more information, visit Chiefs.com/Red Friday. And make sure you tune into our game in Brazil against the Chargers that night at 7 p.m.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Don't fumble your airport parking. Score big with Park & Go. All covered parking, fast and free shuttles, and open 24/7. For the best deals in airport parking, reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and fan approved.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football. KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by the Hall of Fame voice of the Kansas City Royals. Denny Matthews joins us on the show today. Denny, happy to catch up with you.
Well, good to talk to you, Carrington, as always.
Absolutely. The Royals had an important series this week against the Tigers. The point that I made on Friday is if the Royals are going to do this, they're going to have to face their fears, so to speak. The Royals have been very good against teams that are under 500. They've struggled when they've played the better teams and the playoff teams. If this team is going to be able to navigate this, they're going to have to figure out ways to win series against teams like the Tigers.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they proved that over the last homestand. They beat the teams that they should beat. And that's what you have to do to keep your head above water. And then they've also shown, I don't know what the number is, but it's amazing to me. They might be the best team in baseball at salvaging the final game of a series after losing the first two or three. They always seem to win the last game of a series, and that kind of keeps your head above water too.
A major reason for that, at least on Sunday, was Vinny Pasquantino. He has been absolutely on fire. This offense is drastically different when he's hitting the way that he is.
Yeah, and you'll remember last year when he was injured and down the stretch, and the Royals really felt the effects of that. So if he can stay healthy for the next 4 or 5 weeks, why, they got a shot.
Whenever he's like this, does he remind you of somebody? Is there a former Royal or a former big leaguer that when Vinny's in this kind of zone he reminds you of?
Not right offhand. He's just very good at driving in runs. That's in his DNA, to speak, and he's good at it. He has to figure it out, and he does, whether it's an opposite field single, whether it's a sacrifice fly, whether he's looking for a pitch to drive, and he either gets an extra base hit or he drives in 2 or 3 with a home run. So he's just very good at that, and he's in the perfect spot in the batting order to make that happen. He's hitting right behind Witt, and Witt's going to be on base a lot, and Vinny usually figures out a way to, if he doesn't get him all the way around, then he puts him in better scoring position.
I remember, I think it was Alex Gordon that said, whenever he's a little bit off, he's not getting as much like rosin and pine tar on his back, like he needed to follow through all the way on his swing. Is there something that you notice that whenever Vinny is struggling that he's not doing correctly, and then when he's in a zone like this, when he's hit 6 home runs in his last 7 games, something that he's really dialed into?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. When he's hot, he goes after pitches that he knows he can handle. When he's not, he'll be chasing some pitches that aren't really hittable for him. So it's either that or the other, and it's not all that complicated.
Right now, we're talking to Denny Matthews, the Hall of Fame voice of the Royals. The Royals lost on Friday and Saturday. Was there something you noticed that caused them to slip up?
No, it's just a combination of things, and you just have to put together the pitching with the defense, with the opportunistic hitting, and when you do that, you're going to come out on top more often than not.
Last thing about the Tigers, they've really gotten things going since last year at the trade deadline. You remember they made a couple of moves that kind of felt like they were waving the white flag, so to speak, kind of similar to what Minnesota did this trade deadline. They were hot the second half of the season. They made a run to the playoffs. They have just continued that. What do you like about this Tigers team?
Well, they're well-balanced, top to bottom, and the batting order, their pitching is really good. And they've been good from the start of the year. And they've had a couple of sinking spells, but all teams do. You can't go through 162 without having a few slumps. The key is to negate the slumps as quickly as possible. Get out of the slump, get back on the track, and Detroit has done that. Teams that are in contention minimize the bad spots in their schedule, and every team's going to go through that.
Sometimes the schedule guys are really looking out for you. The Royals have 3 games against the White Sox. If there is one team that the Royals absolutely dominate, if there is one team that the Royals absolutely own, it's the White Sox. They couldn't come at a better time in the schedule.
Yeah, and the last time the Royals were in Chicago to play the White Sox won 2 out of 3. So they better go into the series in high spirits, and concentration should be spot on, because those 3 games are going to be very important. You better not take the White Sox for granted. They're obviously better than they were last year. Now, that's a low bar, I will admit. But, yeah, if you don't play well against them, they can rise up and beat you.
I want to get your thoughts on a couple of young pitchers. Let's start with Noah Cameron, who's getting the start today. What have you noticed from him? What do you like about him early on in his career?
Just very consistent, very confident, very poised. Nothing bothers him. And if you watch him on the mound, you don't know whether he has a 4-1 lead or a 4-1 deficit. And that's to his advantage, because if a pitcher's on the mound and doesn't like his stuff or his control is not good, hitters pick on that immediately, and they'll take advantage of that. But with him, you never know whether he's ahead, behind, happy with what he's doing, or unhappy. And that's a good trait to have for any kind of a pitcher.
I'm not trying to look too far ahead with the Royals. You obviously got to take things day by day. But my hope, Denny, in all of this is they have a series in the middle of September against Seattle. I just want the Royals to be within striking distance when it comes to that. They're probably not going to catch the Red Sox. It's going to be really difficult to catch the Yankees. To me, the team that you're kind of targeting and you need to play better than down the stretch is Seattle. I just want the Royals to be 3 games back, 2.5 games back, with 3 games at home against Seattle. I just can't think of too many series that the Royals have had like that in Kauffman Stadium in my lifetime, where I know they're not going to be playoff games, but they have playoff game-like implications.
Yeah, and to get your wish to come true, obviously Seattle's going to have to play well, and the Royals are going to have to play well. If that eventuates, we might have a very interesting series in mid-September. If one team just runs away from the other team, then it's all a moot point.
Right now, we're talking to the Hall of Fame voice of the Kansas City Royals, Denny Matthews. Denny, do you think the offense is sustainable? Because in the second half of the season, the Royals' offense is completely transformed. They're taking walks. They're hitting home runs. It's certainly more balanced at the back half of it. Do you think this is the Royals' offense to stay from now until the end of the season?
Well, that's the offense that everybody hoped would open the season back in late March, early April. But, it all of a sudden happened, but there were a couple of new additions, 2 or 3 new additions. The balance of the batting order changed, and I think we mentioned it last week when we chatted. The lower third of the batting order has done much better than they did in the first half of the season. And those guys, the 7th, 8th, and 9th hitters in the batting order, are setting the table for your top 3. And that's where the RBIs and the runs are produced. So I think you have to give a lot of credit to the guys that have been down in the bottom of the batting order for doing much better than they did in the first half of the season, getting on base for the big guns.
Michael Massey is back with the Royals. The Royals option down John Rave. They bring back Michael Massey. What do you think Massey's role is? How does he fit into what the Royals have been doing as he joins the team with 35 games or so to go?
Well, I think he's going to be spotted here and there. That's up to Q. And where he is in the batting order, we don't know. We'll find out. I'm not going to manage the team, but he'll fit in. He'll do what he does best, and that's provide offense. And you forget that he improved so much defensively. I think he's better defensively than India, but whether they use him in that spot and put India in the DH, we'll just have to wait and see.
It certainly goes without saying you can't afford to lose a series to the Chicago White Sox, not with you trailing, not with you playing from behind. I kind of thought this leading into it with Detroit. I kind of looked at them as one long 6-game series that you just can't afford to lose ground. You lost the series in Detroit. Now coming up this weekend for a Labor Day weekend, you kind of got to take care of home field, and you got to try to figure out a way to scratch 2 or 3 wins, and then your schedule really softens up before you go against Philadelphia and Seattle.
Yeah, well, let's look at it this way. The marathon is over. Now it's a sprint. And when you're in the sprint, the finish line is in sight. Every game is important. Well, every game's important in April, but now that you see how things are set up, why it's important to play well at this time of the year. And if they play well defensively, get good pitching and opportunistic hitting, why, we'll see what happens down the stretch.
That is the Hall of Fame voice of the Kansas City Royals, Denny Matthews. Denny, it's always a privilege to get to talk to you. I look forward to catching up with you next week to see how the Royals handle themselves against the Tigers at home.
I'll look forward to that, and we'll talk about it at length.
Absolutely. That is Denny Matthews, the Hall of Fame voice of the Kansas City Royals. The Royals sit 3 games back of the Seattle Mariners. I believe they are 4 games back of the Boston Red Sox. Coming up on the other side, let's get back to talking about football. I got a couple of Chiefs roster thoughts. They have made a move. They are bringing back Derek Nottie, and I'm not so sure that Elijah Mitchell is making the team. We'll discuss it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey guys, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive. Summer is officially here, and that means the sun is out and the grill is hot and life is calling you. But what if you're just not feeling it? Low energy, brain fog, maybe you have no drive. It might not just be your age. It could be low testosterone. At Heartland Men's Health, they know what you're going through, and they know exactly how to help. Low T can lead to poor sleep, weight gain, low sex drive, and zero motivation, but it doesn't have to be that way. Do you know what the first step is? It's taking the free Low T quiz at heartlandmenshealth.com. It only takes 2 minutes. Then schedule your $99 consult. That includes lab work and a full medical review. And if your treatment starts that day, that means your visit is on the house. Don't wait. Heartland Men's Health is changing lives in Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Call this number, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com today. That one phone call can change your life, can change your summer. So get back to feeling like yourself. Pick up the phone and call Heartland Men's Health today.
When your name's on the paint job, your primer better hold up. Painters trust Kills primers for serious adhesion, stain blocking, and a finish that lasts. Now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick it up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results. Faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Flooded bathroom? AC on the fritz? When things go wrong, you need reliable service fast. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter and take $50 off any HVAC, plumbing, or electrical repair over $200. The pros at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to fix the problem. Over 40 years experience, more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee means you can trust Hamilton to bring comfort and calm back to your home. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
As
summer temperatures are winding down, the final push of the season is heating up. With 1 month to go, the division-leading Tigers are coming to the K. They've got Cy Young pitching, all-star defense, and power at the plate. But when they take on the Royals August 29th through the 31st, there's one thing they won't have. Their fans in the stands. So bring your playoff spirit and take home a different gate giveaway with each critical game. Reserve your seats at royals.com/tickets.
Get a bottle of Seafoam motor treatment for just $8.99 and receive 5 times O Rewards points with the purchase at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This summer, try the new Strato Frappuccino blended beverage at Starbucks. It's the classic blended iced coffee you know and love, now topped with a creamy layer of handcrafted brown sugar cold foam. Available for a limited time. Your Strato Frappuccino is ready at Starbucks.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A., member FDIC.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Connolly Plumbing Solutions. The wreck's still working. Overland Park, that's 69 southbound at 95th. The right lane is blocked. Blue Springs, that's a stall. 70 westbound at 7 Highway. Right lane blocked there. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center, I'm Val. 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, it's Rashi Rice from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, this is where I'm going to unload a lot of my Chiefs thoughts. Before I do that, let me remind you guys that coming up this Friday at 6 o'clock, join us for a Chiefs Roundtable featuring friend of the show Mitchell Shorts, friend of the show Danny Hughes, emceed by friend of the show Nate Taylor. This will be inside Hollywood Casino. It's free, open to the public, but you got to be at least 21 to pull up. Question and answer afterwards, and you also get photo opportunities. So if you have ever wanted to take a picture with Nate Taylor, Friday's the time to do it. 6 o'clock. Show up. If you've ever wanted to take a picture with the Super Bowl champion, Mitchell Shorts, show up Friday, 6 o'clock at Hollywood Casino. Maybe afterwards, we can play a few games if you're of age. We can play a few games if you would like. Rob, what's your game of choice at a Hollywood Casino? You a craps guy? You a roulette? You a blackjack? What do you like to play?
I bounce between a little roulette and a little blackjack, and if I'm losing, I meander over to the penny slots and just drink.
All right. You know what?
Have an ice-cold beer.
You can do that with Rob if you would like, but you have to show up Friday, August 29th at 6 o'clock for all of these activities. All right, I am just going to go through Chiefs thoughts that I have, and we can work through them together as a team. The first Chiefs thought that I have, are we 100% sure that Felix was going to make the team? Because if I'm going through the numbers, and they just brought back Derek Nottie, and we'll talk about that momentarily, but we know Derek Nottie is making the team. They're not cutting their draft picks they just made. They're not cutting Norman Lott. They're not cutting Ashton Gelati. When you start adding the numbers up on your fingers and toes, I think you're starting to run at I think Felix was on the cut line. I think it was between Felix and Malik Herring. Now, he was probably going to make the team because they got significant money and investment tied up into one of those players, and they don't really have it tied up into the other player. But I'm not 100% certain that Felix was good. And I think that's one reason why they kind of tapped him and said, big dog, kind of need that roster spot. Because now I don't know the severity of this hamstring injury, but he got this hamstring injury and instantly he was done for the rest of the season. Like, they're not even open to the possibility that he could help them later on in the year. When Hollywood got hurt for 3 months, they kept telling you, hey, Hollywood's coming back. Hollywood's coming back. He's going to be able to help this team. We're going to try to get him on the field before Christmas. It was a theme for the 2025 season. The theme of this season was, hey, Felix, we don't think you can play. I'm simply asking this question out loud. You can tell me if I'm right or you can tell me if I'm wrong. 913-586-7965. I'm simply asking the question. Are we sure Felix was going to make the team? Because it feels rather shaky. It feels to me like it was not 100% certain that he was going to make the team. Maybe I'm off. I know the money, and sometimes you got to follow the money. But this is an organization, I don't know if they care about that. Not if you plan on sitting Jalen Moore in week 1. The money isn't the end-all, be-all. You're about fielding the best 53-man roster that you think is possible. So you got $21 million sitting waiting in the wings. What's another 3 for a defensive lineman that they've never shown? After they drafted Felix, they've never shown they believe in him. Not once. He's never been ahead of certain people on the depth chart. He's never been given prolonged opportunities to play. He got hurt in this training camp. Instantly, boom, done. Rest of the season. We don't even want to entertain the possibility that you could come back to help this team. Something to note. Second thing that I want to share with you guys in this kind of Carrington Harrison preseason thought dump. Second thing. There might not be another organization in the league that loves to spin the block more than the Chiefs. For those of you that are not familiar with the spin the block, it's kind of go back to an ex. I'm sure you've been in this situation. Maybe you just got out of a relationship and you don't want to go out and find somebody new. So you know what? Sometimes the easiest thing to do is just to go back to people that you've already talked to, already dated to, or spin the block. Now you get the reference. Is there a team that loves to spin the block more? They could have just signed Derek Nottie in the offseason. They could have just signed him. It's not like he got pulled away on some crazy deal. You could have just kept Derek Nottie if you wanted to. No, you didn't want to. Now, ultimately, it doesn't end up being that big of a deal. They ended up swapping 7th-round picks, and it's just, I don't have it in me to be that mad about the 241st pick in the NFL draft. Certainly not for a player that everybody knows, everybody likes, fits the system. You don't. There's no ramp up period. There's no learning curve. This is just guy we know can play in this system. Let's bring him back. We'll throw him back in this locker room. Everybody's going to be happy that he's back. Loves, hand pounds, dapping him up. Hey, dog, I missed you. How you been? How's the kids? And now you put him back, and he will be on the 53-man roster ready to go to Brazil. So no harm, no foul. I'm not worried about the assets lost, and I use lost in air quotes when it comes to Derek Nottie. I'm just simply pointing out, man, the Chiefs, it's like the Chiefs only know 60 players in the league. Maybe 65 if you're being crazy. If you haven't already played on the team or if they haven't vetted you, no chance you're making this. You're not getting on the team. When they were looking for a wide receiver, the only wide receiver they were considering was DeAndre Hopkins. They had already done all the work to go get DeAndre Hopkins. Remember, when he was looking for a team, it was between Tennessee, New England, and Kansas City. Now, why you chose the Titans over the Chiefs, I assume was just money. It definitely wasn't because of winning. But this is important to note. This offseason, or I guess this regular season, depending on the trade deadline, if the Chiefs need to make a move or so, based on the names that are connected to the Chiefs, it will be very obvious to see who they're interested in and not interested in. That is important to note right now at running back. Rob, if you are a running back available, we need to be going through the list. Have you played for the Chiefs before? Have you ever come in on a visit? Have they ever considered you playing for the Chiefs? Because if they haven't, you are probably not making this team. When they needed a running back last year because of an injury, they went back to Kareem Hunt. You got to have a Carfax with the Chiefs for them to bring you in. You got to have one. And Derek Nottie, you're back. Again, I'm not here to they swapped 7th round picks for a D tackle that we all know and think can play. So it's a good move for the Chiefs. They needed a little depth there. They found a little depth there. Good. Let me ask you this question, Rob. I don't have the answer to this, by the way, 913-586-7965. So if you guys know, you're more than happy to tell me. What do you think this means, and who do you think it means it for? Do you think this means that Omar Norman Lott is not what they anticipate him being? Is there an injury that we don't know about? Like, for you to bring this player in, is it because you didn't see something, or is this simply you just wanted to have more depth? You had an opportunity at depth at a very low acquisition cost, so you might as well go out and do it.
Can it be both? Like, I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. I do think it's possible that Omar Norman Lott is basically behind the curve is a mean way to say it, but not to where they'd like for a week away for NFL football. They still might think that he can be a player, might even be productive in 2025, but maybe they thought he would be at level blank and he's not quite there yet, so let's add some depth. Like, I don't know this is like a ringing indictment on Jerry Tillery or on Omar Norman Lott, but it's possible they felt like those guys would be maybe a half step better than they are right now, and they're not to that level. So I think it's just a depth move and a CYA move, but I think that CYA is built out of it's possible those two guys aren't quite where they'd like them yet. Doesn't mean they won't surpass Nottie on the depth chart, but let's have their body in the room to be safe.
I remember I was telling you how I got asked to be on a show in San Francisco, and they were asking me questions about Sky Moore. And I remember telling them, I was just, hey, what went wrong in Kansas City? It was very clear. He can't catch. What do you mean? I don't know how to say it any differently. He can't catch. Rob, they then tried, you know that sports talk way where you ask the same question, but you ask it a little bit differently because you're hoping that you get a different answer. And I was like, I don't think I'm making myself clear. He cannot catch. I've seen it for multiple years in Kansas City. Easy, routine plays for Sky Moore. He cannot catch. They were laughing like, oh, you're serious? I don't know how much more serious I can be. I didn't come on here to joke with you. I didn't come here in my free time to talk to you about Sky Moore to be dishonest. Did you hear what Sky Moore did in their first preseason game? Did you hear?
I'm guessing he had a drop.
I mean, just right on two, multiple. Dos. 1, 2. I mean, it was the same Sky Moore that we've seen. Again, I'm not here rooting for or against Sky Moore. I'm just simply getting all of these preseason thoughts out to share with you guys. I'm telling you right now, I don't care if Sky Moore turns into Jerry Rice. I don't care. There will never be a time on this show where I think back, man, you know what, man, the Chiefs, they could have worked harder. They could have made it work. It was never, ever going to work. Never. Not ever. So he needed a fresh start. We needed a fresh start. He has found a new home, and he has found new people to frustrate. You don't got to deal with it anymore. You don't got to deal with the 3rd and 7 against Buffalo. You don't got to deal with them throwing it to Sky Moore. You can just be happy. We'll find somebody new. I mean, I don't know who it is yet, but trust me, when they start playing games, I'll find them. I'll find the stats. Why does it matter? They're winning. Well, I mean, yeah, right. But this guy, he ain't good. We know how this is going to go. I'm telling you that I'm for it. So just give it time. But good luck to Sky Moore. I just simply wanted to pass that little bit of information for you guys in case you missed it. Sky Moore had two Sky Moore drops in San Francisco's first game. I'm sitting there reading. I'm just like, I tried to tell you. I told you. I told you. Rob, are we sure Elijah Mitchell's making the team? Like tomorrow when they do their 53-man roster. Because this is what I think is going to happen. Isaiah Pacheco, lock. Kareem Hunt, lock. Brashard Smith, lock. I don't know if Elijah Mitchell is a lock. This is what I think is going to happen. I think the Chiefs are releasing Elijah Mitchell tomorrow. Or I think the Chiefs are either going to make the Derek Nottie trade for a running back, or they're going to pick a running back off waivers that will essentially be Elijah Mitchell. A veteran running back that is very low cost, very low resources spent on that running back, and you hope that you find something. They tried it with Elijah Mitchell. It's really hard as a running back to not have a good camp. I mean, it's designed for you to have a camp. They don't tackle to the ground. It's quick bursts, explosive plays. I mean, did we hear one single report coming out of St. Joe's about Elijah Mitchell? Did we hear anything? I mean, Brashard Smith, he's running little wheel routes, and they have a clear role for Brashard Smith. They think he can be Jerick McKinnon. They think he can be a third down, catch the ball out of the backfield. They like him. I don't know what Elijah Mitchell's role is on this team. I don't think he has it anymore. I think the burst is gone. I think the explosiveness is gone. I think the injuries that he has taken throughout the course of his career have really eaten away at his body. I think the Chiefs thought he had a little bit more juice, a little bit more pizzazz. Once they got him in the camp, once they got him in the fold, they realized that was not true. And I believe that we are 24 hours away from them moving on from Elijah Mitchell and trying to find somebody else at running back. I believe the Chiefs have been making calls at running back. They need to be making calls at running back. You saw what happened last year. You cannot anticipate 17 games of Isaiah Pacheco, 17 games of Kareem Hunt, and 17 games of Brashard Smith. You need another body somewhere. An injury is going to happen. It's football. I'm not wishing on anybody, but we all watch the game. The Chiefs ain't getting everybody through the finish line. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to miss time. It will probably be at running back if you look at their history of the guys that they have. So being prepared is what they should be. So if you want another preseason thought, I believe that Elijah Mitchell will not be on the team tomorrow. I do not think he is making the 53-man roster. I think that there is another move for the Chiefs. I either think they're going to swap picks for a running back that they don't think they'll get off waivers and they'll claim him, or they'll wait for somebody to get claimed and they will have a new veteran running back. Who's that one running back that went to the Texans late in the year? What was that? Remember? I can't think of it off the top of my head. It was a guy that was on the Chiefs, Carlos Hyde. That's who it was. Yeah. Carlos Hyde. I was thinking of the wheels were turning. Carlos Hyde. I think it'll be something like that. I think it will be a very similar Carlos Hyde type move that the Chiefs plan on making tomorrow.
It's also worth noting, multiple times in the Brett Veach era, after cut day, he has added a running back to the fold. Now, the two names are not impressive, and whoever the Chiefs add, and I am 100% with you, they are going to be adding a running back to that room. I'm kind of frustrated as someone who hates running back. It feels like it comes up a lot. I'm frustrated that they're going to be making an end of August, grasping at straws move to try to enhance the room when all offseason, everyone we ever talked to on this show, including us, was like, hey, that room's not good enough. That room's not good enough. That room's not good enough. Here we sit. It seems the Chiefs are trying to admit the room's not good enough. But in the past, Brett Veach, after cut day, he added LaShawn McCoy. At the time, it was a big name. It didn't really work out. And remember last year, I remember Mitch Holthus loved the move. They added Samaje Perine. So, this is something Brett Veach has done, but I think the name is going to underwhelm whoever the name is. And it is going to be frustrating that they have these same running back conversations throughout the season, because if Pacheco isn't contract year Pacheco, their running back room is just blah.
It's
very,
not good.
very blah.
It's not good. No, it's not good.
And by the way, I'm not going to be like, oh, Elijah Mitchell was a major miss. They signed him the first day of free agency, and you think he's going to get cut. Again, it was no money, so no harm, no foul, but just the room is bad.
No, you and I wanted them to do. And The fact that you even wanted them to do more at running back really says something. It really means that the tank is on E. Like, if you even notice it, like, hey, man, I know I'm down on running back. I ain't that down at running back. They need to probably do one more thing. They probably need to do one more thing.
I mean, their room right now is literally Pacheco, me, you, and a ham sandwich. Like, it's bad.
I'm not going to do Kareem Hunt like that. You can do Kareem Hunt like that. I ain't going to do Kareem Hunt like that. He a little bit better than a ham sandwich. I ain't going to do him like that. Let me ask you guys this question. I hate to talk about this, but it's impossible not to talk about this story. I told you guys off the rip, I'm not here to dive deep into the Johnson family dynamics. I don't know what's going on between these people. I don't know the issue between these people. I have absolutely no clue. I'm just a man on the internet. And when I'm scrolling the internet and I see father of quarterback Avery Johnson fights other brother of Avery Johnson, I'm sorry, I clicked on it. I was curious. And they were really, really rumbling. It leads me to ask the question. I cannot imagine, I'm serious, getting into that level of physical altercation with my father and or a loved one. That's the kind of rumble you have for somebody you don't know. That's the kind of level of rumble that you have where, Rob, if you're out and a man disrespects your wife and then you give him a warning and then he says, what are you going to do about it? And then you do something about it. That's the level of rumble that we're talking about. These people are on the street. This wasn't like a yelling, pushing match. This wasn't a you push me, we push you. We kind of stand chest to chest like we want to fight, but we really don't want to fight. No, this is both parties with the smoke on the ground. They then get broken up and then still continue to want to fight each other. I don't know how old Avery Johnson's brother is. I really don't know. That man could be 37 years old. I have absolutely no clue how old he is. I got to hold the father responsible here. There's the only person. I mean, come on now. You're a grown man. You're a grown man with a college-age son. You can't be out here fighting in the middle of the street. You got to know. A, it's the middle of the day. You know who you are. K-State's a small community. If you are traveling from Manhattan, Kansas, or wherever you live to go to Ireland, you are the biggest Kansas State Wildcat fan. You know who Avery Johnson's folks are. He knows that you know who they are. And you out here fighting in the middle of the street. I can see if you was fighting an Iowa State fan that might have disrespected your son, called him a name, it wouldn't even be that big of a deal. Release a statement. Hey, I was just trying to enjoy my time over here. Iowa State fan said something disrespectful. One thing led to another. I apologize. You had to release a statement with your son. It's just it's all bad, man. It really is all bad. Good luck to K-State. Good luck to, I can't imagine the distraction. Like, they're kind of in a good spot because they're playing. Who they got this week? It's something like North Dakota. They're playing like North Dakota or something. I mean, if they were playing a real team, you'd have to ask him about this. You cannot go out the course of the week without your quarterback being asked about, hey, have you seen the video? Have you talked to your parents? Like, I don't even want to talk to you about the game. And there's a lot of things to talk to you about from the game. I've never seen anything like this before, ever. Never. I cannot imagine Patrick Mahomes Sr. and Jackson getting into it on Grand Boulevard. I cannot imagine that. That's what this happened. They're fighting in the middle of the street, laying around, rumbling. Wild video. I never, ever would have guessed. I'm serious. I never, ever would have guessed that that's how the K-State weekend would have ended. Someone asked, do you think alcohol was involved? That's the only thing that makes sense.
And even if it was, it still doesn't make sense.
I'm saying it's even worse if you guys did this completely sober. Like, it's even worse to me. At least you could blame it on the vodka, blame it on the Henny. At least you could blame it on that. You're telling me, I don't know. Maybe people have different relationships with their pops. Again, I'm not here to judge anybody's life or their relationship. I cannot imagine what would happen to have me in the middle of the street, on the ground, rolling around, fighting with a loved one. This was not two random fans' preseason video. We see those all the time. We won't even blink an eye when that happens. It's not even that big of a deal. Like, whatever. That's just part of going to football games. It's just wild. A wild weekend if you were a Kansas State Wildcat fan. Truly, honestly, a wild weekend. Coming up on the other side, let's get back to the Kansas City Royals, as the Royals are 3 games back in the wild card. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
If you've started thinking about what to wear this fall, your timing is perfect because Macy's Fall Preview event has early deals on looks everyone will be wearing. Romantic dresses from BCBG and Avec Les Filles, Western-inspired boots and bags from Steve Madden, all 25% off. Plus, take 15 to 25% off fall beauty from Yves Saint Laurent, Estee Lauder, and Clinique. Don't wait. This fall preview won't be around for long. So come into Macy's today. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Ugh. Kitchen ants, runaway roaches, a spider. Relax, just use Zevo. Zevo insect killer sprays use a powerful blend of mint and rosemary to eliminate those pests and up to 20 other bug types. Plus, Zevo is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Just spray the bugs and wipe them away. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob!
It's the summer sales event at Rob's Side Ford. Your chance to upgrade without the stress. Rob Side joins me now. Rob, what's the offer?
0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on nearly the entire Ford lineup.
That's a serious summer deal.
Sure is. And unlike your brisket last weekend, these deals aren't dry.
Okay, that's fair. These savings are definitely juicy.
And we're backing it up with 2 years of complimentary maintenance, a non-commissioned sales team, and top trade-in values.
No pressure. No gimmicks at Rob's Side Ford. The way car buying should be.
We're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 Google reviews, and a better experience from start to finish.
So skip the smoke and the dry meat. This summer, start at Rob's Side Ford.
135th and State Line or robsighc.com. 0% financing, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
Rob's Side Ford. Buy right. Drive happy. And next time, maybe stick to potato salad.
Listen up, folks. I want to tell you guys about my new obsession. It's Daisy French Onion Dip. With football season here, it is the perfect dip for your chips, your wings. The delicious Daisy French Onion Dip and the Daisy Ranch Dip, they're game changers. They're delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and real spices and also ingredients that you find right there in your kitchen. So the next time you're having people come over to celebrate the start of the football season, you better make sure you have one thing, and I'm talking about that Daisy French Onion Dip. You can find it the next time you go to the grocery store.
Tonight, expect a mostly clear night with a low of 55.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
Numerous brands to choose from, endless options, one incredible experience. At Aristocrat Motors, we treat every driver like royalty and offer the finest luxury vehicle experience in Kansas City. Come see us today and let us roll out the red carpet for you.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger, Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Don't fumble your airport parking. Score big with Park & Go. All covered parking, fast and free shuttles, and open 24/7. For the best deals in airport parking, reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and fan approved.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Park & Go. We've got a new problem. It's a crash, Belton, and it's 49 southbound past 155th in the right lane, and a crash in Overland Park, 69 southbound at 95th, right lane blocked from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center. I'm Val, 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with C-Dot on 96.5 The Fan.
I'm happy to tell you guys that I'm in the process of directing my second documentary. This one is called Armageddon at Arrowhead. It's based off the 2007 game between Missouri and Kansas. We got two players on each Kansas and Missouri to rewatch the game for their first time, 18 years later. My first documentary that I made was about high school basketball in Kansas City. It was called From Paseo to Pembroke. You can Google it if you'd like. You can watch it. I'd appreciate it. I'm only telling you this because I remember there is a scene in there where one of the players talks about, the high school basketball season, and he kind of threw a little bit of a dig at Winnetonka. And, Rob, one of the topics that we have on this show, certainly when we get, athletes from around the area is, hey, when it's like homecoming, or you guys need to kick off the season with the win, who's the team that you schedule? Text line 913-586-7965. When you were in high school, who was the team that you knew it was an automatic dub? You knew on your schedule when you first get it, you could just write W by their name. That's how the Royals have to feel about the Chicago White Sox. Rob, do you know the record that the Royals have over the White Sox the last two seasons? Well, I looked it up for you, so you didn't have to. They are 20-3 against the Chicago White Sox the last two seasons. They have played 23 times. The Royals have won 20 of those games. If there is ever a team that the Royals love to see on their schedule, you know who it is? It's the Chicago White Sox. It's fill-in-the-blank high school that you are thinking of. They cannot wait to see them on the schedule. You got to take care of business against this team. I'm serious. You got to. You got to pummel this team. You got to, at minimum, win the series. If you sweep them, great. You cannot, if you have visions of the Royals making the postseason, you do not make the postseason without winning this series against the Chicago White Sox. You just don't. I'm sorry. Not that team, not how bad they are, not with how much you have dominated them over the last two seasons. You have to win this series against the White Sox. You could even lose the series this weekend to the Tigers. I mean, it wouldn't be ideal, but honestly, it would be expected. The Tigers, they're just better than you. On the flip side, why you got to win this series against the Chicago White Sox is you're just better than they are. You've been better than them now for almost 2 full calendar years. So whatever high school you're thinking of, 913-586-7965, whoever that team was for you, whoever that school was for you, whoever that kid was in your block that always tried to challenge you in something, and you would just beat them. One of my friends, his name is Charles. You guys remember, he was Bad Luck Chuck. He always challenges me in NFL Blitz. I don't know why. He's 0 for 13 against me. He will never beat me in that game. He's my Chicago White Sox. He's my Winnetonka. Guaranteed dub every single time. It's embarrassing. Rob, who was your version of Winnetonka back in the day?
Oh, at Northwest for basketball, it was Olathe South. They were the opening game a lot. Hey, we're going to play O-South. Okay, put a W on the board, lock it up, win. I will say this about the Royals real quick. I agree with everything you're saying. Needs to be an automatic dub. You've taken care of business, this, that, and the other. You know, the last time the Royals went to Chicago, they lost 2 of 3 to this same White Sox team. And I'm here to tell you, the White Sox, I mean, maybe they were better, maybe they were worse, but that series took place in, I believe, either May or June. And this same White Sox team, at what is the name of their stadium now? Guaranteed Rate, whatever it is, they took 2 or 3 from the Royals. So all that precedent, all that history, all that walloping, it's great. Hey, we get to play the Olathe South of Major League Baseball. Free dubs. You can't give away these wins. You were joking earlier about K-State. Hey, if they were playing a real team this weekend, it'd be a real problem. You were joking with John Curts. Hey, if we have you on after the Army or North Dakota game, a disaster has happened. If the Royals lose 2 or 3 in Chicago, it is equivalent to the disaster level of losing to an FCS if you're Kansas State or Kansas. If any of the 3 locals in football lose this weekend, that's the same equivalent of the Royals losing a series of the White Sox. But it just happened.
Looking at the text line right now, this has been a very, very fun experience. Let me read to you some of the text. C-Dot, I went to Belton High School, and I can say that we were that school for Ray Peck. You know what? That actually makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. I could see Ray Peck just pounding on Belton High School in everything that you guys played. Someone else said, I went to William Chrisman. We were that team. William Chrisman is, I'm sorry. If you got William Chrisman coming up on the football schedule, you can rest easy. That's a dub. That's a dub. I'm sorry. At least that's the perception. I don't know if William Chrisman might be good this year. I'm telling you, back in my day, William Chrisman, guaranteed dubs. Guaranteed every single time. Someone else said, I went to Oak Grove. Everyone would schedule us for homecoming. You don't want to be the homecoming game. You know who that is in the SEC, Rob? Vanderbilt. If you got Vanderbilt on your schedule, you always try to schedule them for homecoming. That's why I always feel offended when some of the bigger schools like Alabama, yo, man, don't be trying to schedule Missouri for homecoming, dog. No, don't try to do that.
I'm a Kansas football fan.
I don't know why you laughing because you cheer for KU. You've definitely been some homecomings.
We've been homecoming for 20 years. Every team, Baylor was like homecoming. They're going to throttle us. Here we go. In high school, I will say, it really annoyed me. My school in high school did the opposite. Let's not get the layup win during homecoming. They're like, let's get the big team in town and try to pull the big upset. You know how many times Tim Grunhard's Miege team was my homecoming game? Too many. You know how many times we beat them? Never. If there was a spread, we didn't cover it. It was bad every year.
Someone said we were that team. I went to Truman. Truman also might be one of them teams you schedule in for homecoming. I'm telling you, that's who the White Sox are for the Royals. Everybody has that team. Everybody has that team. And I'm trying to tell you, if you go to 23 times, you play them 23 times. If you play them and you win 20 of the times, you cannot lose this series. I don't want to hear it. If they lose this series, like, oh, why are you guys being so negative? Because you lost homecoming to William Chrisman. That's why we're down. That's why I'm negative. That's why you got to do extra suicides this week, because you didn't bring it. There ain't no reason to get beat by Belton 49-0. It's embarrassing. I don't know what's happening out here. You didn't do what you needed to do.
One of our part-timers, JT, who fills in for me from time to time, just texted me that he went to Ray Peck. They had Belton in week 1 a lot. He said my senior year we beat him 68-10.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Someone said we lost homecoming to Belton. Hey, man, I wouldn't have told me that story. I would have kept that story. I would have kept that story to yourself. Rob, how good did it feel to finally be back in your own stadium? You guys didn't have a home last year. You guys were trying to fake get excited about playing a sport in Kansas City, and the UNLV came in there and broke you guys' hearts. I know you guys were really trying to sell hey, it's fun, we get to play in an NFL stadium. That stadium is twice as big as your home environment. It just didn't feel like anything. You could not have had a real environment last year as a KU fan. But this stadium, it just feels... That stadium is perfect for who they built it for. And to me, that's the best compliment that you can say. It's a nice 40,000. They feel like they're right on top of you. There's an energy. There was a pride. I've never, ever, at least I've been to a lot of KU football games. I've never felt like there was a pride about the football program. It has always felt like it was something to do. Hey, I got free tickets. It's right across the street. It's right by my dorm. Why don't we tailgate? We'll go in for the first half. We'll have a little bit of fun. We'll leave at halftime, and then we can go hit the bars. That's how it's always felt at a KU game. It didn't feel like that on Saturday. It felt like big-time, real college football on Saturday. That's the environment that they got to keep. If they keep that environment, they will have a chance they will catch somebody at home this year. I don't know KU's home schedule. Let me look it up off the top of my head. But
they got, the tough one is they got like K-State.
Well, we know y'all ain't beating K-State.
Utah. They could beat Utah. They could catch Utah.
They could 100% beat Utah.
100% catch Utah. Yep. Because like Oklahoma State, I think they're better than. I guess West Virginia's in the same ballpark.
Utah's the game that you beat them and then you storm the field and you take the field goal post.
That's probably the one. That's the one you're like, oh, you caught them. Yep. It was the Utah game.
You guys got Cincinnati at home for family weekend. That's going to be a good environment.
Cincinnati's in town this week in Kansas City.
Can't wait to watch them.
Speaking of Arrowhead, Nebraska fans are coming.
Are you guys going to the game?
I am not going. As of now, I'm not going to Nebraska.
Why is the kickoff at 8 o'clock?
No one knows.
Why is it so late? Did you see Dylan Raiola today said it's not his fault that he looks like Mahomes? You have to blame God. I was like, but you also like go out of your way to really look like him. It's not like that's a coincidence. Like you copy everything about Patrick Mahomes. You celebrate like Mahomes. You got the same haircut. You wear the same glasses. Like, yes, there's a little bit of a resemblance. You go out of your way to remind us that you look like Patrick Mahomes. What do you mean you're a college kid? I mean, all right, whatever. I'm not going to say, but you can't get mad at us for like, hey, you look like Patrick Mahomes. Like, come on now. You want us to notice that you look like Mahomes.
He wears 15. Why do you think he wears 15? He leans into it too much to be like, blame God. Come on now.
Okay, that's a good
point. He's the same headband. He's an Adidas school guy, too. It's like all the same.
That's a good point. It's all a good point. I can't argue that. Not argue at all. Coming up at the top of the hour, let's get back to the Kansas City Chiefs as they're getting ready for the start of the season. We are less than 2 weeks away from a real meaningful Chiefs game. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
For the first time in a long time, I'm willing to dream that this can be a special season for the Missouri Tigers.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
You've got a big wreck down in Belton causing backups into Grandview. The wreck is 49 southbound past 155th, right lane blocked. Wreck in Olathe, K7 northbound past Harold from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Car wreck? Get the money you deserve. Mike's got this.
Paid for, client portrayal, and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Century Roofing remains the best roofing company to call for insurance claims from storm damage, roof repair, and inspections throughout Kansas City. They were just voted as both the best roofing company in Johnson County for the 4th straight year and the best roofing company in all of Kansas City by readers of the Johnson County Post and the KC Star. So trust the pillars of strength and go with locally owned and female-owned Century Roofing at CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
A blood emergency has been declared in the Kansas City region, and donors are urgently needed. Now through August 26th, donate with Community Blood Center and be entered to win tickets to the Chiefs home opener. Visit SaveALifeNow.org or call 877-468-6844 to schedule your donation today.
The long weekend sale is on at Target with exciting deals you won't want to miss. Stock up on grilling must-haves for a few more sunny barbecues. And while you're at it,
Ease into sweater weather with fresh new fits for the fam. Whether you're hosting, relaxing, or showing off your new style, Target has your deal in-store, online, and in the Target app. Hurry and save more with the long weekend sale happening now through Monday. Only at Target.
Here we go. Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
This is incredible.
Watch your local NFL game live all season long.
And he's in for a touchdown.
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down. 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
This October, the whole family can ride along for the wildest weekend in Kansas City. PBR Outlaw Days, October 3rd through the 5th at T-Mobile Center. Cheer on your Kansas City Outlaws as they battle the world's best on the dirt, under the lights. KansasCityOutlaws.com. Get your tickets now at PBR.com. Kansas City Outlaws, all grit and no quit.
It's almost Andy Reid. When I landed in KC, I started doing commercials, the whole playbook. That's how I teamed up with Renner Garage Store. For nearly 70 years, Renner has been serving KC with the latest styles, top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and the trusted service of a family-owned team. Get your free estimate today, and if you're looking for work, Renner's hiring installers with paid training. RENNER forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by New Century Ram Dodge Jeep in Paola. Why buy your next vehicle at New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Paola? Simple. Honest guys that don't need to add big city overhead into the price. Search New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram to see the complete inventory.
Have you watched Thy Royal Decree? How about Chiefs Take Tuesday? Or would you rather Wednesday? Follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for exclusive video content, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes action. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
I know I told you guys that I want to talk about the Chiefs, and I promise you we'll get to the Chiefs. This is Chiefs adjacent, if anything. The Bears have to feel some sense of embarrassment about how their offense performed on Friday night against the Chiefs, right? I mean, Caleb Williams played essentially the entire first half of the game, and they scored 10 points. I mean, the Chiefs offense, it was the Chiefs offense. We'll talk more about their offense coming up in a bit, but the Chiefs, I mean, they had 2 drives in the first quarter. They went 70 yards in 3 minutes and got a touchdown. They went 7 plays, 80 yards in 3 minutes and got a field goal. They then scored a touchdown on the first drive of the second quarter as well. The Chiefs' offense was super efficient, incredibly efficient in the first half of the game. That is not at all what we were talking about with the Chicago offense, especially when the Chiefs' first teamers were in there. I mean, their first 9 plays went for 22 yards as the Bears. They had a 3-and-out to begin the game. I know I say the preseason doesn't matter, and I'm not here to overreact to anything I saw from anybody in the National Football League. But, man, for a quarterback that has been given as many things as Chicago's quarterback has been given, there appeared to be something very, very wrong with their offense and how it functioned and how it worked, and you got to have your head down. I'm not saying you're supposed to go out there and hang 28 in the first 30 minutes of the game, but I mean, they didn't put a drive together until it was 2 minutes left in the first half, which was kind of like, at that point, I think the Chiefs just kind of like, all right, hey, we did exactly what we came here to do. We came in here to get Patrick Mahomes a little bit of work. We wanted to really have a tune-up. It's clear the Chiefs don't think they need 3 preseason games. They felt like they need 1. Mahomes threw 1 pass in the first one. They then took him out, and then they let him get his real work in front of the fans. Hey, we're going to let you go out there, play a couple of series, play a couple of snaps. We're going to try to work on some things. We're going to fine-tune some things, and then we're out of here. I think Chicago has to feel some level of disappointment about what they saw with their offense and how they performed this weekend. It was not good. It was not crisp. It was not any of those things from their offense. Going from the Bears offense to the Chiefs offense, and this is more of a Chiefs point at whole, but I think it kind of really factors in on their offense. It's time. Like, I don't really have a deeper thought than that when it comes to their offense. I would say that right now, this is, if you ask Brett Veach in an honest moment, this is the offense he envisioned when the draft was over. Their left tackle, their first round pick is healthier than anticipated and has played really well and is going to start. Kingsley played well on Friday, and Kingsley, I think, has won the job. I don't think we're talking about Jalen Moore starting for them at left guard. Now, things can change. We saw that last year. But offensive line-wise, if you would ask the Chiefs right when the draft was over, what do you hope to have happen? That is what has happened. Isaiah Pacheco is fully back healthy. Kareem Hunt has had a good camp. Brashard Smith, it looks like they have found a role for him, and it looks like he's going to be able to fulfill that role as a third down pass catching back out of the backfield. As of right now, let me knock on wood, all of their wide receivers are healthy. That was not the case at any point in 2025. At no point from the ball dropping at no point in 2025 were all of their wide receivers healthy, available to play football at the same time. It was always something. Hollywood's out. Then Rashee Rice is out. Then Hollywood comes back, but he's not 100% healthy. And then this guy, the expectation when they take the field next week in Brazil is that everybody is going to be healthy and available. If you had asked Brett Veach to make his 53-man roster at the very beginning of training camp, who do you think is going to make this team? Before you see a single practice, who do you project? 52 of those guys, Rob, are going to be healthy and available. The only one we're talking about is Deion Bush, who was going to make the team, we believe, but ended up with an injury. Maybe you argue Felix Onyeudike, but again, injuries are going to happen when you start playing football. You did not lose a single player that you feel is instrumental to what you were doing and where you need to go. And for the offense, for the first time in a long time, they are going to have everybody healthy and available. I don't know what more you could ask from this preseason. I don't know what more you can ask from the training camp. I'm willing to give it an A. If we were giving a letter grade for what we've seen the Chiefs do from the time they went to St. Joe until now, I think you have to give them an A. They executed their plan. We'll see if their plan works. You and I think they need a little bit more in the running back room. We'll see if guys can stay healthy at wide receiver. We'll see if Kingsley Suamataia works at left guard. But as of now, if you believe and trust in Brett Veach's plan, his plan is playing itself out in real time.
I'm watching The Kingdom right now. I know you've watched this. And they do an episode about the health of the team and how last year they struggled with health. And they bring up that in the preseason, they were already kind of behind the 8 ball because they were battling injury. Hollywood Brown's injury, all the stuff. Man, this year has been the opposite. They are leaving preseason as healthy as you could possibly be. And that is the goal of the preseason and the goal of training camp. You always call it the wheel of misfortune. It did not hit the Chiefs this year. There was no contract dispute. There was no health issue. There was nothing. It is all systems go. So I'm going to be holding the offense to that standard. You're right. I think they probably have 50 to 51 of the players they anticipated when they went to camp being the 53. Without having seen the 53, I imagine that's the number. If you are getting everything you want out of camp and you're walking out of camp healthy and you're telling me the offense is going to be better this year, it's time for me to see it. I do not want a 19-17 slog against the Chargers like you had last year. Nope. The offense needs to be explosive again. And to your point about the Bears, In the first quarter, when the Chiefs were playing their real guys against the Bears' real guys, I will absolutely credit everyone on the Chiefs. Their offense looked like they had been talking about up at camp. There was explosion. There were deep plays. They looked a step faster than the Bears. I want to see that against the Chargers in Sao Paulo. I want to see that against the Eagles. I didn't see it last year against the Eagles. I want to see that in week 2. You are leaving camp healthy. You are leaving preseason healthy. You have what you wrote down in pencil in April is basically what your lineup is in pen in September. It's time to hit the ground running because there are no more excuses for, oh, the offense is just okay, but there's no more buts. Time to hit the ground running.
No, I'm 100% with you. The Chiefs last preseason did not win the injury luck. I mean, you lost one of your starting receivers in the first drive of the preseason. I would say you got through it relatively unscathed. Again, I'm not here to diminish Deion Bush, but if that's the player, if Deion Bush and Felix Anudike-Uzomah are the 2 players that you lost in the preseason, hey, you came out all right. You came out all right. It could be much worse if you were the Kansas City Chiefs. It was much worse last year. You guys remember that first month? I mean, the Chiefs just got hit with thing after thing after thing. So knock on wood, at some point this team will have to deal with injuries. It's football. Everybody does not stay healthy for all 17 weeks of an NFL season. But for week 1 of the NFL season, their ideal depth chart is going to happen. It is going to come true. We'll see what happens with Rashee Rice. Maybe there is a settlement that is reached before the start of the season, but I'm guessing that's not really a conversation you want to have heading into Labor Day weekend. That if that was going to happen, you probably would have done that already. And, I mean, once we get to Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, you either start practicing or the Chiefs are making the trip and they're going to Brazil. So, I mean, the time to get Rashee Rice news is between now and Thursday. If it doesn't happen by Thursday, I just don't really see a scenario in which we are talking about he is suspended for week 1. And he looked good in that first drive. He caught a touchdown pass. You could see the excitement and the burst was there. Rob, I 100% agree with you. I don't want to hear any excuses about the Chiefs' offense this year. I don't want to hear any of it. Not if it's like this. This is exactly what you wanted. We wanted you to do more in the running back room. You decided to do this. You decided to run it back with the exact same wide receivers. You got the exact offensive lineman that you wanted. Everybody else is your draft pick or you spend big money on in free agency. This is the offense that you envisioned. There's no reason for the Chiefs to be 17th again in point score the way they were last year, or it feel like a struggle the way that it did at times for the Chiefs offense. We'll see if they can get back to where they should be in the top 5, top 8 offenses in the National Football League. Rob, coming up on the other side, I noticed something while I was at KU's game on Saturday. I'll tell you what it is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, your home for the best food takes in KC.
Regular old American nachos. You know, I don't need jalapenos with mine, just chips, cheese.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey guys, football season is right around the corner. So that means whether you're watching your favorite college team or maybe you're watching the pros play, you're going to have people over and you're going to have your own watch parties. Well, if you plan on having a watch party this fall, make sure that includes the best barbecue in town at Gates Barbecue. With 5 locations around town, you are never too far away from that classic Gates barbecue taste. And let me tell you, the last time I was there, I got the burnt E-Mac, absolutely phenomenal. Now, you know, I'm a mixed plate kind of guy. But now I got to make sure I get that on the side. I got to make sure that I get that burnt E-Mac. I put a little bit of the sauce in there. I mix it all up. Oh, my goodness. It's absolutely delicious. Maybe you like to get your own grilling done during the football season. Well, you can still incorporate Gates Barbecue into that. Next time you're at the grocery store, make sure you go get some of the Gates sauce. Also, make sure that you go get some of the Gates seasoning. You can get that at any area local grocery store. It's Carrington here telling you, when football season around, with tailgate season right around the corner, I know you're going to be doing some grilling. And if you plan on doing some grilling or even eating some barbecue at the function, make sure that it includes Gates Barbecue.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob!
When your reputation's on the line, you don't leave anything to chance, especially your primer. Painter's Trust kills primers for a smooth start, strong adhesion, and serious stain-blocking power. And now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results? Faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
Want to see the 2015 World Champion Royals swing it again? Come out to Home Run Derby X at Kauffman Stadium for a reunion on September 13th. Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, Alex Gordon, Ben Zobrist, and Lorenzo Cain take their cuts against reps from the Blue Jays and the Mets. Come join the action for a night of massive dingers, slick defense, and target-smashing thrill. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at MLB.com/HRDXKC. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Don't let clogged drains slow you down. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews ensures your peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Your cold is coming. Your cold is coming. When you feel a cold coming, shorten it with Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand.
Oh, no, not before my big trip.
The big trip you've been planning is coming up, and so is your cold. But Zicam can shorten your cold and get you back to planning sooner.
Thanks, Revere.
We really should keep Zicam in the house.
Shorten your cold with Zicam.
Take it from America's most revered messenger. Shorten your cold at the first sign with cold shortening products from Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zicam.com.
Robsite Ford. Non-commissioned staff, low prices, best trade-ins, and the biggest selection. Visit robsite.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Robsite Ford, we've still got the multi-car crash, Overland Park area, K10 westbound at 435. Off to the right shoulder in the clearing stages, but still backups do remain. Coming out of downtown is stalled, 35 southbound, past 27th in the left lane from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
I want you to remember that these deals always get done. The Cincinnati Bengals are closing in on an agreement with the NFL sack leader, Trey Hendrickson, on a new contract. This is per NFL Network that would make him one of the highest paid defensive players in the league. We don't have any of the details. We don't have any of the particulars, but we do know that Trey Hendrickson is in the fold. I want us to remember this for next year because I promise you it will come up. And I want you guys to remember this and store it in the back of your mind. It is just fodder in August. This is the only time in the NFL season in which you can ask for a raise, in which you will have some leverage over your team because the season is right around the corner. And if you are a team like the Cincinnati Bengals that have told us at every single turn, we got to start fast. We got to start fast. Well, you can't do that without your best defensive player. So you don't have a choice. You either need to make a decision early on to trade him and then live with the aftermath of trading him, or you need to do what Cincinnati just did and pay him. So you paid Joe Burrow. You paid Jamar Chase. T. Higgins got taken care of. It took you a little bit longer, and it was a windy road, but you eventually got there with Trey Hendrickson. It is just noise in August. That's what it is. It's just noise. I don't care about any of it. In the next 2 days, Micah Parsons is going to end up signing a deal. So all of the nonsense that we got from Jerry Jones, that we got from Jerry Jones.
And Mama told him, you're not. And Mama told him, you're not going to get it. And goes in to Daddy, who only sees him after 5 in the afternoon, wants to love him, and says, you can have it, son. You can have that before dinner. And he goes back in and says, Mama, Daddy said I could have it. That's the old mom, Dad, been around since the beginning of time. I'm not going to go for that here. That's what's happening.
You're not going for it?
I'm not going for it. No. But we've had a very, very strong negotiation. Now, by the way, frankly, it wouldn't have made any difference what the negotiation was. Guess who has to be comfortable for this to work?
Micah.
And who else?
You.
Hello. There's not room for a third. There's not room for a third. This will be a good one.
Disregard all of that because it doesn't matter. Look at this offseason. Everybody that publicly asked to get paid got paid. Myles Garrett, trade me. I want to go to a team that can win the Super Bowl. He got paid. TJ Watt, he got paid. James Cook got paid. Terry McLaurin, he just got paid earlier today. Trey Hendrickson, Micah Parsons, he's about to get paid coming up in just 2 days, 3 days. We can be done with this. It's just August fodder. The games aren't interesting enough, so we just get the drama of the NFL in August, and it's cool. I like it. Arguing back and forth, and I'm not going to practice and trade me, and then we start to entertain what teams could possibly trade for you. You ain't going nowhere.
I will say, I have to interrupt. Have you seen Trey Hendrickson's number?
I've not seen it yet, but no, let me ask you this while I look it up.
Don't pull it up. I'm curious. I want you to get an honest reaction, because I'm about to tell you that Adam Schefter has tweeted his. It's a one year deal, so he got a 1 year. He
got like $27 million then.
30.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
He got a 1 year, $30 million contract.
Let's see how the funny money works. This is what I'm guessing. I'm guessing they gave him some guaranteed money to just calm your nerves.
It's a $14 million raise, by the way.
I'm assuming it's some real funny money. That's what I'm just going to guess. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's some funny money. Now, you certainly got a raise. You got paid. They gave you some money today to come back and be happy. They boosted up your guarantees, and you can earn some of it on the back half. So he probably gets like 24 guaranteed, and then you got to work for the other 6 based on your production, based on how the team performs. That's just what I'm going to guess. That's a prediction on my end. Let me ask you this question. Who do you think is the mom and dad in the analogy that Jerry Jones just gave? Because, I mean, we all know that happens. We were all kids once. You know which parent to ask for certain things. Like if you wanted to stay out a little bit late past your curfew, you knew which parent to ask. If you wanted to get ice cream before dinner, if you maybe wanted to get that new game for the Sega Genesis, You knew which parent to ask. Who's the mom and dad in this analogy? What is he talking about? Is it like Steven's the mom and then he's the dad? Who are you asking for that could give you permission on Micah Parsons' contract? I don't understand the analogy there.
I think, and I don't want to speak for Jerry Jones. I don't want to be inside Jerry Jones' mind. I think he is saying he's the mom in that situation, the disciplinarian, and that Micah ran to his agent and his agent said yes. That's my thought on his analogy. But his agent
can't approve a deal.
I know. It's not a great analogy, but I believe that's what he's trying to insinuate, is that the pushover and say you can get whatever you want is the agent in Micah's ear, and he's the disciplinarian saying here's the actual way it's supposed to go down. It's a bad analogy by Jerry, but he's like 100 years old.
No, he is like 100 years old. I do have very serious sports things to talk to you about, but I do want to ask you this question. Let's say that you're going back in time to a 15-year-old Rob Britton, and there's a little cutie there at Blue Valley Northwest that wants you to take her to the movies. You guys are going to go see whatever movie was popular at the time. Which parent were you asking in this scenario to see if they were going to drop you off at the mall so you and this young lady could go to the movies? Was it mom or dad, Rob?
Well, it would be dad, but it's not because dad was a yes. It was because if it did get greenlit, I feel like dad is less likely to embarrass on the drop-off. I can't speak for your mom. I can't speak for anyone's mom. My mom would be first-team All-American Park, and I'm going to go meet this woman. I want to get a better sense of why you two are going to go watch Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man together. It wouldn't be just okay, see you later. Movie will be over at 9. I'll be in this parking spot then. Deuces. It was, okay, do you have enough money? Let me go in and meet her. Maybe her mom's here. I can meet her mom. Maybe some friends of yours are here. I can talk to them. It was not about the yes and the no. It was far more about all the ancillary things that were why I would lean toward dad.
Okay, no, that all makes perfect sense. Now, I know that this next little bit is going to upset you KU fans just a little bit. I know. But I assure you that I'm just joking and we're having a little bit of fun. But this was a little funny to me. So I went to the KU game on Saturday, and it was, you could not have asked for a better Lawrence day than that. The weather was beautiful. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't a cloud in sight. You could smell the barbecue. Everybody's tailgating. Everybody's having a good time. It was really a fun event to be at. So at the game, they thank David Booth, which makes sense. He just gave you $300 million. The stadium is named after. I was like, I clapped a little bit. I ain't going to hate. I did clap a little bit. Like, oh, okay, man, cool, man. That's cool. The first dead ball in the first quarter. Guess who they thanked again? He came back. Rob, I'm not joking. David Booth then walked back out there in the first quarter, and then they thanked him again. I was like, hey, didn't we just do this? I was kind of confused. I was like, wait, hold on. Like, I know I'm not tripping. Wasn't he just out there? Then he waved. Like, okay, all right. I get it. Hey, you donate $300 million. You can get 2 introductions. I'm not joking. This is not an exaggeration. They then thanked him he got thanked on the field 3 times in the first quarter of the game. 3 times. I'd never seen anything like that before. I've never, ever in my life ever seen one person get honored as many times at the game as they did David Booth. I get it. You got a lot of standing ovations to go for $300 million. A lot of them. At this point, just let them do all of the things. Let them flip the coin. Let them do the honorary ball toss at the basketball games. I don't know what other things you can have them do, but for $300 million, you get to be thanked as many times as you want to if you make that kind of donation to a school. I've never, ever seen one person go on the field and be honored 3 separate times in a 10-minute span the way that I saw at Kansas this weekend.
It was legitimately a lot. There was a lot of it. I was at the game with my wife.
They gave him a whole montage. They gave him a montage.
You had better seats than me because you were working on some stuff on the field. I'm pretty sure Lance Leipold handed him the first touchdown ball. I'm not even kidding.
He paid for it.
I'm pretty sure maybe it was like the kickoff. He handed him a football at one point because he's walking off the field holding a football over his head. And my wife leans over to me after the third one. The first one, they honored him with the video. Second one, they honored him again. Third one, they technically honored everyone that gave money, including the DeBruce family. A lot of people got honored, and they said his name last. He got a big roar again. She was like, are we just going to do this for every commercial break for the rest of the season? Just keep honoring David Booth? In which I told her, if you give $300 million, you get honored 300 million times. 100%. That's how it's going to be how it works. I haven't been to an Oklahoma State game in a long time, but for a while there, it was a T-Boone, a coronation of T-Boone in games I went to. Hey, T-Boone's in the box. Let's just flash on T-Boone because that's what happens when billionaires start throwing their money around.
Let me ask you this, and we'll move on from this. Again, we're just joking, KU fans. I know you guys get all uptight about this. I get it. You give $300 million, you can basically make the rules. Let's say that David Booth thought that they needed a new basketball coach. What would happen at KU? Like tomorrow, if he's like, I don't know if this Bill thing's working, what do you think KU would say? Because
I think they would say no.
Because like on one side, that's Bill Self. Mm-hmm. But on the other side, this is the guy that just donated $300 million. He's done a lot for the university. What do they do in that scenario?
I think they tell David Booth, here's your money back.
You think they're giving them no chance they're giving the money back?
You know what they're going to say? Bill Self stays and the $300 million stays in our pockets. I'm sorry it's not moving to 307.
Okay, I'm just saying, I don't know how you handle that situation. Like, how do you pick? I mean, Bill's the only person I don't think David could just instantly get rid of. Anybody else can get rid of.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow, if he's like, I don't know, you know what? I think we need a new football coach. KU would have a new football coach by Friday night's game against Wagner if they needed to. If they needed a new AD, they would go get one. Bill's the only one that can stand up to him. That's how you know you really done something. If you can stand up to the guy that has donated $300 million, that's how you know you made it. When is he going to pay for the statue outside? Because we know that donation's coming. I don't know who's going to pay for maybe the DeBruce family's going to. Somebody's going to pay for the Bill Self statue.
Maybe KU's hoping for a bidding war because it could be in the DeBruce Center or it could be in the Booth Hall of Athletics.
I think it might be a hologram.
And just get a bidding war. Hey, the DeBruce are at this number. Hey, Booth's at this number. Like one of those events where they hold up the paddles. That's what's probably going to happen.
I actually have one more KU thing. I have a lot of KU football thoughts after watching them. Am I crazy in thinking that KU is I don't want to say they're like I don't think they're winning the Big 12. But we all know that it is a coach and quarterback sport. I think Lance Leipold is really good. I think he is a very, very good coach. I also think they have an experienced, healthy quarterback for the first time in maybe 2 years. Now, maybe this is just me being caught up in the moment of being there. But the last KU home football game I attended, they played Illinois. It was early in the season, kind of like this one. I think it was like early September. And Jalen Daniels was fantastic in that game. He really was. He was fantastic. And I felt like I was watching an NFL quarterback. I really did. I got that same feeling on Saturday when I was watching him. He was 18 of 20, very smart with the football. He wasn't hesitant to take off and run and use his versatility and be the dual threat kind of quarterback. I know it sounds very Captain Obvious, but I don't know if there was a team last year in the Big 12 that their success was more dependent on how their quarterback played last year than KU. Those early season games that were coin flip games, they weren't really coin flip games. Your quarterback didn't give you a chance to win. Your quarterback didn't give you a chance to beat Illinois. Your quarterback didn't give you a chance to beat UNLV. Just made a lot of mistakes early on in the season and bad negative football plays that just as a team, you're not talented enough to overcome those mistakes. If he's not going to be that kind of negative this year, and he's going to be a guy that plays smart football, protects the ball, and also can take off and run a little bit, and you're going to be a team that's well coached and you've got more explosiveness than you've had, why can't KU be a dangerous team? Maybe not a college football playoff team, maybe not a team that can win the Big 12. They certainly can do what they did last year and play spoiler and be a team that wins 8 games, and they're the reason why K-State doesn't make the college football playoff. They're the reason that Arizona State doesn't make it, or BYU or one of those teams. I came away more than anything just impressed with how easy it looked for KU on Saturday and how good Jalen Daniels looked.
Listen, I do not think KU is a Big 12 title threat. I don't think their roster is as talented as last year's. I think they are probably somewhere between a 7 to 9 win team this year. But I know that because of the college football playoff, we sneeze at people who don't make the college football playoff. All these things. A 9-win Kansas team is a huge accomplishment. It's a huge deal. And if they have that quarterback the way he played on Saturday and they have that coach, it is absolutely something you could dream a little bit. I still think they probably lose to maybe both, but at least one of Kansas State and Missouri. I think those teams are just more talented than them. I think Utah is probably more talented than them. And just football happens. You go lose it. College football, you lose a road game all the time. It's a thing that goes down. I get it. Nature of the beast. But if Jalen Daniels is going to look like 2023 Jalen Daniels again, which at least against Fresno State in one game he did, there's no reason they can't be a 9-3 team that gets to go play in the Pop-Tart Bowl. And I know people are like, well, who cares? It's the Pop-Tart Bowl. 9-3 in the Pop-Tart Bowl. Kansas is a huge. It's a huge step into hopefully one day think you can acquire the talent to be an Iowa State type again. It did feel more like an 8-win team than a 6-win team watching them on Saturday.
I mean, I think the Missouri game, that really feels like the swing game for Kansas this season. Like, I'm with you. I think Missouri is more talented than KU. But for a team in Missouri that just doesn't know who their starting quarterback is and has a major question mark going into it, the fact that KU doesn't have that question mark, and maybe Kansas has a better, certainly in-game coach. I think that's very debatable on who has the better coach on Saturday. I think that Drinkwitz has just shown an ability to recruit that it's just easier to recruit to Missouri. There's just advantages that Missouri has that KU doesn't have. So there's no question to me in terms of working the recruiting trail, ability to get talent, Missouri is far superior than that. But on Saturday, once you throw them out there, I mean, it's not crazy to think if you're KU, to me, that's the game that will tell us if you really got a chance of competing in the Big 12 at a high level. Because if you can win this year at Missouri, there's no game on your schedule you can't win. If you can go on the road and beat Missouri, you can beat Kansas State at home this season. You can beat Iowa State this year. You can beat Utah this year. A lot of those teams, I think, is in the same tier, in the same range of kind of team that Missouri is. We'll obviously see how the season plays itself out for KU, but I was very, very impressed with how KU plays. They got a gimme game this week, and then we'll see how they look coming up next Saturday against Missouri. Rob, let's get back to the Kansas City Royals as they are 3 games out of the wild card, and they play the Chicago White Sox in this 3-game set, in this 3-game series. We were talking about this earlier. We can bring it back just a little bit. Do you agree with that quote from Rainey? Like, I think the quote from Rainey is honestly the perfect way of describing the Royals as we currently sit. The Royals continue to be exactly as good as it takes to make all of us believe, but not one iota better. It does feel like the Royals, they do just enough to keep us all on the hook to make you feel like you got a chance. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to actually break through the door. You know, we love a cross-sport analogy. Like, at some point in a basketball game, as crazy as it sounds, you got to take the lead. Like, how many times have you watched a basketball game and they keep cutting the lead to 2, or they cut the lead to 3, or they're within a bucket? Well, eventually, you got to take the shot. You got to make the shot that gives you the 1-point lead, and now the pressure has moved from you to them. So the Royals are keeping themselves in it. All I want the Royals to do is be within a reasonable striking distance whenever they play Seattle. That's coming up in, 3 weeks they play Seattle? They play Seattle at home. They got Seattle, I believe it's the 16th, 17th, and 18th at Kauffman Stadium. I cannot remember a time in which the Royals have been within striking distance in a home series in September with a team that was directly ahead of them. I can't remember it. Maybe this happened in 2014. I'm just misremembered, and I remember they played the Tigers, but it just felt like there was a little bit of a gap between them and the Tigers. There really isn't that much of a gap between the Royals and the Mariners. I don't think it's that realistic to think that the Royals are catching the Red Sox or the Yankees. I do think there's a chance they can catch the Mariners. So at least for me, that's all I'm evaluating. Can they be 2.5 games back? Can they be 2 games back with Seattle coming to town where you don't have to worry about the scoreboard watch? The only scoreboard you need to watch is right there on Crown Vision. And they need to win these 2 games, win this series, or sweep this series where they can potentially take the lead and really control their own fate talking about the wild card. That's what I'm watching for. That's what I'm hoping for. But I don't think this is not an incorrect statement. The Royals continue to be exactly as good as they need to be to make us believe, but not one iota better. I do wonder if this Royals team is going to be able to break through in 2025, or is there just not enough time to?
I think the quote is 100% correct, and I think we're going to look back this season and say, man, June buried him. But I also think if we try to get a few steps away from this and get to a 10,000-foot view, man, this is what me and you, and this is what John Sherman was asking for a long time. Remember John Sherman when he, not fired, but pushed Dayton Moore out, said Dayton always talks about, what a world champion team looks like. I want to know what a wild card team looks like. Me and you, multiple years in a row, said, you know what I want? I want the Royals to be interesting in September. So there is that series you're talking about that could be with the Mariners. There is that, hey, they're in it until the very end, and they are just a team that is good, but maybe falls short sometimes, but sometimes gets in. And, once you're in the dance, let's see what happens. The Royals are that team, and that quote perfectly epitomizes this team. And there's nothing wrong with that. If the Royals finish this year 83-79, 84-78, and miss the playoffs by a game and a half, we should not look back and say that's a massive failure. That is maybe not a successful season, but it's a step in the right direction, and it is part of what fans have been clamoring for. Because how many times in our, when we were kids, Carrington, was it the 4th of July was happening, and the Royals season had been over for 2 months. This team, last year's team, I believe next year's team, they're going to be competitive every year down the stretch. Some years they fall short, some years they make it.
All right, coming up on the other side, the Chiefs have some news. They are putting a patch on the jersey. They have a new oh, that's a practice jersey. Never mind. I thought it was the real jersey.
I saw that earlier.
I just saw jersey, and then I saw Mark Don. I was like, oh, it says practice. So my bad.
Their practice jersey has a new sponsor.
They have a practice jersey sponsor. Burns and McDowell. They are going to sponsor the practice jersey. So my bad. False alarm. They don't have a patch on the regular jersey, just the one that they practice in. Coming up on the other side, let's continue to talk football. Let's get back to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's also sprinkle in a little bit of college. Let's talk about K-State as they have started their season 0-1. Keep it right here. It's The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Entry Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Entry Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Baseball fans, BetMGM is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during the baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM's Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Log in every day for your chance to win. All you need to do is pick an area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us. Just log into your BetMGM Sports account to get started. Then, visit your promotions section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. You'll score a prize if you hit a single, double, triple, or home run. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards may vary. Bonus bets expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
When your name's on the paint job, your primer better hold up. Painters trust Kills primers for serious adhesion, stain blocking, and a finish that lasts. Now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick it up in-store. Kills primers, pro results, faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Listen up, folks. I want to tell you guys about my new obsession. It's Daisy French Onion Dip. With football season here, it is the perfect dip for your chips, your wings. The delicious Daisy French Onion Dip and the Daisy Ranch Dip, they're game changers. They're delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and real spices and also ingredients that you'd find right there in your kitchen. So the next time you're having people come over to celebrate the start of the football season, you better make sure you have one thing, and I'm talking about that Daisy French Onion Dip. You can find it the next time you go to the grocery store.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. You've got a 2-car crash up near Gladstone, 29 northbound at Barry. 2 left lanes are blocked, and coming out of downtown KC, 35 southbound past 27th, it's the left lane blocked by a stall. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center, I'm Val, 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Trey McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, a couple of football thoughts before we get back to the top of the hour. Football thought number 1 related to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have so many kind of visions for players and what their roles are. And for the most part, they miss. Every team misses. The Chiefs are really good at finding a player whose skill set kind of fits in that role. For example, they had Jerick McKinnon for a time. Jerick McKinnon no longer is in the National Football League. Then they went out and they got Samaje Perine, who had a very productive season last year with the Kansas City Chiefs. Very similar styles, very similar roles on a team. This year, they are out looking for a Jerick McKinnon type. I think it's very clear that's how they see Brashad Smith. I don't think he's a guy that's going to get a whole lot of carries for this team. I don't think he's going to get a whole lot of carries for the Chiefs this year. I don't really think it's designed for him to get a whole lot of carries for the team. I think they see him as a guy that they're going to throw the ball out of the backfield to and see how he can help you in that regard. Last season, Samaje Perine, even with all of the injuries that the Chiefs had at running back, Samaje Perine got 20 carries. They threw it to him 35 times, and he had 28 catches last year. That's how I think they're going to use Brashard Smith. Maybe they give him a couple of more carries because he's a younger back, and there really was no history of that's how you would use Samaje Perine. Maybe they throw it to him a little bit more. But last year, Samaje Perine, he had 92 yards rushing, and he had 322 yards from receiving. So we're talking somewhere, I would say, in that 400 to 500 range for Brashard Smith. If that's what he gives you from scrimmage in year one, I think you're more than happy with, especially considering where you drafted him at. If you're telling me that your 7th-round running back gives you 425 yards from scrimmage this year, I think you're happy with that. I mean, I think it's going to be tough to kind of get in where you fit in when it comes to pass-catching options, especially if everybody stays healthy this year. Like, if everybody stays healthy, are you going to see a scenario in which your 3rd, 4th-string running back perhaps gets 35 targets this year? Probably not, but I think it's very clear that's how they envision his role. That's how they plan on using him. He is their version of Jerick McKinnon. He is their version of Samaje Perine, and we'll see this season if it ends up working for the Chiefs. I do think that they're going to be in the running back market. I think we'll get some news coming up in the next 24 to 36 hours that the Chiefs have either made a small trade for a running back, a guy who is probably going to get cut, but the Chiefs want to cut the waiver wire, so they go ahead and pick a swap and they pick up a running back, or they wait to see who gets picked. Running back is kind of one of those positions where you can grab somebody at the last minute. I just don't think Elijah Mitchell's making the team. I think we know 3 of the running backs that are making the team. I could see Carson Steele, they keeping him as a fullback. I could also see him being on the practice squad. I don't think he's going anywhere, but I could just see him being a guy that ends up making the practice squad for this team. But I'm not 100% sure that Elijah Mitchell is going to make it, and I think they're going to kind of come to the conclusion that we can improve at this position at a very relatively small cost, which has kind of been the theme of them at that position this year. I think we're going to see them potentially upgrade from Elijah Mitchell. We'll get back to the Royals coming up at the top of the hour. Really quick Kansas State thoughts since they played in week 0. It is really hard at times to do things for the money and also for the competition. At some point, you got to make a choice. At some point, those two things are going to clash with one another. If you have an international mission, well, if you're giving up a home game, a game that would have given you an advantage had it been in your building, lack of travel, familiarity, easy to get to, it's just a better atmosphere at home. If you can do that and avoid it and never play those kind of games. That's not how you're going to maximize your own profits. It is clear. And I'm not mad at K-State for doing it. Everybody is doing it. But Kansas State took a home game against a team that might be a little bit better than them. Not a lot. Just a little bit better than them. And if you beat them 3 times in a row, it's kind of hard to say you're better than them. They might be better than you. You took a game that was a guaranteed home game, and you sold it to ESPN, essentially. Now, I get it. You got things you got to pay for. It's 2025. Hey, must be the money. But if K-State ends up losing the Big 12, one of the reasons why they lost the Big 12 is they sold quite possibly what could have been their most important home game. They sold it to ESPN. And that matters in this conference. All of these teams are bunched up. It's going to come down to tiebreakers. It's going to come down to tiebreakers between Arizona State, Kansas State, Iowa State. All of these programs, who plays who plays who when, where is the game, all of those things are going to matter. There's no team that's running away in the Big 12. And the fact that this was supposed to be a K-State home game, in which, yeah, you would have been a favorite, but, I mean, the conditions certainly would have been favorable. The field would have been in much better condition, much better shape than what you had. You then end up losing that game against a very important team. You not only lose the game, you also lose the tiebreaker to that team. Yeah, it was a great experience. I get why you took the experience. I understand the gamble of all of it. If you get the 2-point conversion, it was a great call. If you miss it, you're an idiot. I understand all of that. But in a conference that the margins are so razor thin man, to give up a home game in a 50-50 coin flip and then you end up losing it, and that could be one of the differences in you winning and losing the conference, it's got to be really tough.
I understand why K-State gave up the home game, but if you're a K-State fan, this has to be the worst possible outcome. You gave up the home game to go to Ireland, play Iowa State. You now lose that game, and we can be honest about how fans work. K-State fans are actually maybe one of the best in town. But their home schedule now just doesn't have a lot of sizzle on it. There's not a lot of, ooh, I definitely want to see when the Cats play insert team. Like, I think Cincinnati is going to K-State. Like, Cincinnati might be better than people think, but, like, that's not a game where you're getting all fired up if you're a K-State fan. Like, looking at their games in Manhattan, now that you've lost this one, you're 0-1, you've lost to a rival, and now your home schedule is looking kind of like, I mean, Army? Is that maybe the best team coming? It's kind of a blah-looking schedule for the Cats if you're a fan, so you feel like doubly betrayed that they went over there, they took away the game that's most exciting to your fans, and then they lose, and the way they lost made it even worse.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, TCU's a good home game. Texas Tech is a good home game.
I forgot they had Tech at home. Tech will be a big one. You're right.
That's a later one. I mean, we'll see how good the Colorado game is at the end of the season. Like, I have no clue what Colorado could be. Colorado could be terrible this year. Colorado could win 9 games this year. Like, your guess is as good as anybody's. This conference is going to be so tough. There's no separation between these teams. And when you lose a heartbreaking game the way that K-State did, a couple of mistakes here, a couple of things break your way, I mean, that's the margin of making the college football playoff and going to the Alamo Bowl, which could be losing games how they lost this Saturday to Iowa State. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're off early today because of the Royals. We got a lot to get into and not a lot of time. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. So Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, host of the Random Royals lineup on 96.5 The Fan.
Baseball with the Royals.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Robside Ford. You're going to hit the brakes near Grandview. That's a grass fire the crews are there putting out. 49 southbound, just past Redbridge. Right lane is blocked. Up north, that's a 2-car crash. 29 northbound at Barry. 2 left lanes blocked. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
Numerous brands to choose from, endless options, one incredible experience. At Aristocrat Motors, we treat every driver like royalty and offer the finest luxury vehicle experience in Kansas City. Come see us today and let us roll out the red carpet for you.
A blood emergency has been declared in the Kansas City region, and donors are urgently needed. Now through August 26th, donate with Community Blood Center and be entered to win tickets to the Chiefs home opener. Visit savealifenow.org or call 877-468-6844 to schedule your donation today.
Missouri, get ready! DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. Later this football season, you'll be able to bet same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more right here in Missouri. Whether you're backing Kansas City to dominate on Sundays or sweating your basketball picks, DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you want to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. And when we go live in Missouri, you'll be betting from home with the top-rated sportsbook trusted by millions. Safe, secure, and ready to deliver the action like never before. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 965 now to gear up for launch in Missouri. Be the first in line for exclusive promos and can't-miss offers. That's code 965 in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Get a bottle of Seafoam motor treatment for just $8.99 and receive 5 times O-Rewards points with the purchase at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Baseball fans, BetMGM is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during the baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM's Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Log in every day for your chance to win. All you need to do is pick an area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us. Just log into your BetMGM Sports account to get started. Then, visit your promotions section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. You'll score a prize if you hit a single, double, triple, or home run. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards may vary. Bonus bets expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Chiefs coverage is sponsored by Missouri Air National Guard St. Joseph, serving your community your way. Serve your country and build a brighter future with the Missouri Air National Guard. Top-notch training, tuition assistance, and bonuses up to $50,000. Missouri Air National Guard St. Joseph. Aim high. Find your path today. Go to ang.com/MO.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can watch every show, plus video clips and shorts, all right from your phone, desktop, or tablet. The Fan's YouTube channel at 965 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. Let me remind you, put this in your calendar. Friday, August 29th at 6 o'clock. We are having a Chiefs roundtable inside Hollywood Casino. Mitchell Shorts will be there. Danny Hughes will be there. Nate Taylor will also be there. This is free, open to the public. But it is a casino, so you got to be 21 or over to enter. There's going to be a Q&A with Mitch and Dane afterwards, followed by photo opportunity. So if you want to pull up, meet friend of the show, Mitchell Shorts, and take a picture and ask him some cooking tips, this Friday is a perfect time to do that. All right, Rob, we are off a little bit early today because of the Kansas City Royals. We are off at 5:30 today instead of our usual 6 o'clock. So we got a lot to get into and not a whole lot of time. So I'm going to try to tackle as many of these topics as we can in the next 20 minutes or so. Do you want to start with the Chiefs or the Royals?
Let's start with Royals.
All right, let's start with the Royals. I would say that this was an expected weekend from the Royals. Now, I'm not here to be Debbie Downer. I'm in a good mood. It's beautiful outside. I had a great weekend. I hope that you had a great weekend. So I'm here to spread positivity. But I also got to spread a little bit of reality as well. If there is a team that that team's better than the Royals, it's the Detroit Tigers. And the Royals have shown a little bit of a kryptonite to beating some of the better teams in baseball. The Royals this season, they are 23-39 when they play a team that is 500 or better. So them going on the road to play the 78-54 Detroit Tigers, I don't know if those are games that you can count as wins for the Royals. But you know what they got right now? For the next 3 days, they play the Chicago White Sox. The Royals have counted 20 more wins this season than the Chicago White Sox. They are 19.5 games ahead of the Chicago White Sox. If there is one thing that I know the Royals need to do over the next 3 days, it is pummel the Chicago White Sox. I looked this up because I was curious. Over the last 2 seasons, the Royals, they have played the White Sox 23 times. They have won 20 of those matchups. If there is one team that we know they own, if there is one team that we know they control right before they come home, it is the Chicago White Sox. So go beat them. I don't care how you beat them. But over the next 3 days, the Royals, at a minimum, need to win 2 games. If they win all 3 of the games, great. Even better. But I'm telling you right now that the Royals, they cannot afford. If you got real playoff dreams and aspirations and think that they can do it, and they got a shot, they cannot lose a series to the Chicago White Sox. They can't. You can't afford to. Those are the games you can't afford to give away. Those are your gimmies. When you're looking at your schedule, you know that the game against Baltimore is going to be tough. You know the game against Buffalo is going to be tough, but you're counting that home game against Cleveland as an automatic win. That's what that is for the Royals. You got an automatic. You got to take care of business against the Chicago White Sox. So, Rob, I think that's the place to start with the Kansas City Royals. It's that and how on fire Vinny Pasquantino has been over the last couple of weeks or so. He has been absolutely on fire. But thing number one with the Royals is there's no shame in you losing to the Tigers. You kind of expected them to, on the road, lose to the Tigers. Now, you got them coming up this weekend back at Kauffman Stadium. It would be great if you could win that series and you go 3-3 over a 6-game stretch against the Tigers. No harm, no foul. But if you look at their schedule, they have, I believe, 15 games remaining against teams that are under 500. If you plan on making the playoffs, you got to win 11 of those games. You got to really eat against the teams and opponents that you are expected to. And there has been no team that the Royals have gobbled up on more the last 2 years than the Chicago White Sox.
I think for me, and we talked about this leading into these 2 series, the Tigers and the White Sox. We both said be 3-3. You're probably going to lose the Tiger series, go win the White Sox series. But series like the White Sox won, and they have the Angels in a few weeks who also are kind of mediocre. If you treat those series the way you treated the White Sox and the Rangers last week, because remember their homestand, they were 8-2. They took care of the Nationals, who stink. They swept the White Sox, who stink. The Rangers were kind of on even footing with them at the time. They took 3 or 4 from them. If you continue to dominate lesser teams, you can survive, you can keep your head above water, you can tread water, doggy paddle, whatever analogy you want, by losing series to the Tigers. But if you lose a series to the White Sox, it's DEFCON, was it 5 or 0? I don't know if the highest DEFCON is. I don't know if it goes up or down. I apologize not knowing the DEFCONs, because now you have the Tigers coming in, and that becomes a must-win series. And we've just seen over time, the Tigers are better than you. So treat the White Sox the way you treated the White Sox last week. You'll be playing in front of dozens of fans at their trash can of a stadium. Get a sweep or get a series win. Keep your head above water, do the same thing next week, and then this next weekend, and then get ready to take care of business against the Angels. And then in that world, the thing that me and you want to happen more than anything, that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in September, the Seattle Mariners come to town, and it is going to be a huge, huge series for the Royals. You can't lose ground when you're playing the White Sox. You just can't.
Yeah, to keep with the college football analogy, we'll move on and talk about Vinny Pasquantino. You got Wagner at home. That's what you got. You got North Dakota this week if you're the Royals. I don't care how you look. You got to figure out a way to beat that. You cannot lose a series to the Chicago White Sox and then tell me that you're making the playoffs this year. That's not how this goes. Over the last 14 days for Vinny Pasquantino, 8 home runs, 21 RBIs. He is hitting 320. He has an OBP of 352 the last calendar year for Vinny Pasquantino. He has played in 135 games, 29 home runs, 93 RBIs. He is hitting 260 with a 320 on-base percentage. Earlier today on the show, we had Denny Matthews, and we asked him just, what do you think of Vinny Pasquantino and this run that he is having? And Denny said something that is just so matter of fact and to the point. He just drives in runs. And for the player who is going to be batting behind Bobby Witt Jr., you know what you desperately need? Somebody who just drives in runs. Can he continue this for the remaining stretch for the Royals? We'll obviously see. The Royals, they cannot do this without a great version of Vinny Pasquantino, and that is definitely the one that they have gotten for the last couple of weeks. All right, let's shift to the Kansas City Chiefs here. We're going to try to touch on all of these things before we got to sign off and hand things off to Josh Vernier. Let's talk about the Chiefs. I am giving this training camp and preseason an A+. Yes, you had a couple of injuries that have popped up across the board. I call it the wheel of misfortune. You're playing football. Everybody ain't making it to the end of the season. But we also know enough to know that every injury is not created equal. Losing your starting left tackle, if you're the Chargers, is very different than losing your 4th or 5th or 6th defensive end like the Chiefs did with Felix Anudike-Uzomah. So you obviously hope that everybody can stay healthy, but this is part of the game. This is the attrition of an NFL season and building a roster. And the fact that the Chiefs were able to spin the wheel this offseason and go through training camp, go through mini camps, go through OTAs, go through preseason football, and they are going to have all 22 of their starters we believe to be available for week 1 is a blessing. I, quite frankly, do not care about anything else. We can talk about what they need to do at this position and this position and certain, I don't care about this. There's one goal in preseason football. It's make it to the end. I don't care how you do it. It is getting everybody that you need available to the end. You won't be able to keep that up the entire season, but heading into next Friday's game against the Chargers, they appear to have everybody ready to go. They have the left tackle that they want. Their left guard, I believe, has outright won the position. I think Kingsley did enough to, if they start Kingsley, I don't think you can complain. Now, I think they're going to have a short hook. I haven't changed my opinion on that. If he's not playing well in those first 1, 2, 3 games or so, I don't think they will hesitate to replace him with Jalen Moore. But this is the running back room that they wanted all offseason. They didn't go out and make big-time moves this offseason when it came to the running back room. Their plan was get these guys healthy. They've accomplished that. Their first-round pick is going to start. Their second-round pick, draft pick, is going to start at left guard. Their big free agent acquisition on the offensive side is available if something goes wrong. Their wide receivers that they brought back this offseason, all of them are healthy, available, going to make the team. On the defensive side, everybody is back. Christian Fulton, who missed the early part of training camp, he got a lot of snaps on Friday night. He's healthy. He's available. You brought back Derek Nottie. I give the Chiefs offseason, I give their training camp an A+. I don't know how you can give it anything less than that. Whatever their plan was, they were able to execute it. You might disagree on the plan. I mean, I wanted them to do a little bit more at running back, but this was their plan. They've executed it. From Patrick Mahomes all the way down to the rest of the roster, this is the team that they wanted to take to Brazil. So you got to be happy about that. You got to be optimistic about that. You got to give them an A+ on how this offseason has gone. A couple of quick thoughts, and then we'll move to college football. Rob, are we certain that Felix was going to make the team? Because I'm just simply looking at the numbers. And if you brought in Derek Nottie, who wasn't on the team 3 days ago, but is now currently on the team, I imagine you brought him in to actually make the roster. So that is a roster spot that we didn't have attributed to a player that now has to be attributed to a player. Are we certain that Felix was going to make the team? Because now I think if you do the numbers, he was right there clearly on the fringe. He was either their last defensive lineman in, like on the NCAA tournament, he was the last team in, or the last 4 out. I don't know how you could consider his spot to be locked in and guaranteed, which is kind of fueling the thought of, I think they went to him with the Tyler Bray proposition. You remember back in the day, Tyler Bray would always just get some mysterious elbow injury, just out of nowhere, seemingly. Just for no reason, just, oh, my elbow hurts. Oh, I'm out for the entire season. Wait, for what? You got arthritis in your elbow? You can't play at all this season just to save a roster spot. I think it is very, very clear that's what happened here with Felix Anudike. I think it is obvious that is what happened. I think he was on the roster bubble. They didn't want to cut him. I don't deny that he's injured, but I think this is like a 3-4 week injury that now has become a you are going to miss the entire season injury. I think back to last season with Hollywood, they waited and waited and waited to get Hollywood available. It was always a cloud that was hanging over the season. They didn't even let this cloud form. They ended that conversation from the very beginning that he could help them in this upcoming season. So I'm not entirely sure that he was going to make the team. I'm guessing he would have from a financial standpoint, but from just a roster team building standpoint, Rob, I'm not 100% certain he was going to make it.
I don't think he was going to make it, but I also don't think they Tyler Brayed him. Like, we know, you've heard Tyler Bray as a verb. In the past, they would give Tyler Bray an injury, he'd be in the IR. Felix Anudike-Uzomah did suffer an injury in the Seahawks game. I believe it was Kling said that, on the sideline you could tell it looked pretty severe. So I don't think it's a full Tyler Bray, but I definitely think they massaged to keep him on the roster by putting him immediately on the IR. And I do hope that Felix comes back next year and can be a productive player, but I think the dreams of him getting a fifth-year option picked up in Kansas City are long dead and gone.
Yeah, I think that's a non-starter.
I think now the question with him becomes, does he make it to year 4 or not? Which I think he does, but it's because of the way the contract is set up, and cutting first-round picks before the end of their deal is pretty crazy in the NFL, but it does feel like they massage the roster a little bit with his health.
Text line 913-586-7965. Is there no way to bring FAU back later in the year? I don't think that he's a player that they designed to designate. I don't think that's what it was. I think he was a player that they had an opportunity to kind of create some space. I think he was on the back half of the roster, and I think they made a decision. Someone else just said, you guys have so much FAU hate. It was reported that it was a big injury. Don't got nothing against the man at all. I'm just simply pointing out that I'm trying to think of the last time that a hamstring injury in August meant you were instantly out for the entirety of the season. So someone said, can't you bring players back from the IR after a certain number of weeks? Yeah, but you have to designate that player. So that's what they did last season with Hollywood Brown. You only get a certain number of guys that you can designate. They are not choosing to designate FAU. They're just going to have other guys that get hurt over the course of the year. So you just got to keep those players available. What if Isaiah Pacheco gets hurt in week 1? You got to keep those spots open. So they've just made the decision that they are not going to entertain the possibility. So no, he cannot come back this upcoming season. All right, let's start with K-State, and then we'll end with KU. From a football standpoint, not good. The first 3 quarters against Iowa State, not good. But there's a caveat. Field conditions, terrible. Wet, rainy. The grass, not good. It was a 50-50 coin flip game. You lost the coin flip. It really came down to Iowa State was better on 4th downs than K-State. These two teams, for whatever reason, they just play really close, really competitive games. Usually really entertaining games. I don't know if I would put this game in that category, but they're usually really close, and they're decided by a handful of plays. And on this Saturday, Iowa State made more of those plays than K-State made. That happens. That's football. It's disappointing that that's not the story from Saturday. I'm sure by now you guys have seen the video. Avery Johnson's pops and Avery Johnson's brother got into a physical altercation after the game. Now, I'm not here to pass any judgment on anybody's family. I'm not. I don't know these people. Have absolutely no clue. I'm just simply making an observation as a person. You know how mad you got to be to get into a fight with your son or your pops in the middle of the street in Ireland? Just think about your own life. How? How do you get to the point where you and your dad are rumbling in the street in Ireland in a physical altercation? This wasn't a yell back and forth, a snap. This wasn't even a shoving match. This wasn't even like that weird thing that men do when they stand real close to each other and bumping chests, but nobody's really going to throw any punches. It's not really going to get that serious. the two sides, they clash a little bit. Somebody steps in, cools it down, and everybody goes their separate ways. Like, no, this was a fight in the middle of the street. This wasn't Johnson family against Iowa State fans. No, this was brother against son. This was family against family. Come on now. I don't know how old Avery Johnson's pops is. He's certainly old enough to know better. And if anything, just the distraction that it creates for your son. Your son now has to answer about this. He does. He has to answer about it. I'm sorry. Like, you don't get a choice now. That's a question that the next time he's available to the media, hey, how's everything? What happened? I think we all want to know what happened. How does it get to that point? So I certainly hope that everything is okay. They had to release a statement. We were joking about this on Friday. Like, oh, what would have to happen for you to have a bad Ireland trip? I don't know if you can really have a worse Ireland trip as a K-State fan, not than that one. I mean, your team laid an egg for the first three quarters. You really lost the game that you had a great chance of winning. And then afterwards, the number one story is how your quarterback Pops was fighting his youngest son. It was not a good look. It was not a good weekend for a program. Not a good look at all. Let's talk about KU for a little bit before we get out of here. I got a chance to go to the game. Rob, you were also at a game. It's funny because I don't know if week 0 could have gone much worse for K-State. Like, whatever your worst idea of Saturday could have gone, that's real close to what happened in K-State. It was the exact opposite for KU. I don't know if you could ask for a better Saturday in Lawrence than what happened. The weather was great. The vibes were great. The stadium is beautiful. They dominated and played well. David Booth is there waving to everybody. He's handing over $300 million checks. He's getting the game ball from the first touchdown. Everything that you could possibly want as a Jayhawk fan, everything you could want happened on Saturday. Your rival kind of embarrassed themselves on Saturday, and you guys came out smelling like a rose. It was a A+ day if you were a KU fan on Saturday.
It was, I believe Brian Haney said this in the lead up to the game. He said that Saturday is going to be a great day to be a Jayhawk. Man, he wasn't wrong. I've been going to games for a long time in that stadium, and I even for a while in my life, have been a relative defender of the stadium, being like, well, there's a history, Having seen the new one, I was an idiot to ever think anything nice about the old stadium. This is a marvel. It is not the biggest stadium in college football. It's not even the biggest stadium in football, period. But it's just better. There's actual amenities. There's actual seats. There's an experience. There's a game day environment. There's a giant jumbotron that has a good pregame video. There's, a pyrotechnics. There are things that happen Saturday that you don't think about. KU had never been experiencing. And to then go out and it's not a good Fresno State team. It's not a great Fresno State team, but it's not Wagner. It's not Central Arkansas. It's not North Dakota. That's a team that has a chance to play a bowl game in 2025. Now, it's probably the Idaho Potato Bowl, but it's still a bowl game nonetheless. Bowl game nonetheless. And to go out and really never have the game in doubt is a really good thing for Kansas. To do it on national television, everything now points to what will happen in the Missouri game. I think they probably lose to Missouri, but after looking good against Fresno State, there's no reason to believe it's just a no doubt they can't beat the Tigers, which is the biggest question now of the season.
I know you said that like you question whether or not they were going to lose. That's just not really a question that I have.
I mean, who's Missouri's quarterback? Which one of the two are they going to play? That's the real question for that game.
All I know is they're going to have more points at the end of the game than Kansas, and ultimately that's all I really care about. That's all that's really important.
Going into the game, they're going to have more quarterbacks than Kansas too.
That is very, very true. It also was just a really good reminder, and I know this, you guys know this, but it was like one thing to see it. Sports really matter to a community. Like, I was just sitting there thinking as I was at Papakino's after the game just getting some pizza. And I was like, yeah, this just didn't happen last year because KU just didn't have home football games last year. So, like, I don't even know what October Saturdays look like in Lawrence, Kansas last year. Like, going out to get some food and get something to drink after the game, it's just every bar is packed. People are outside. People are in a good mood. Like, it was a really good reminder of how important sports are to communities and how important that civic pride is. Like, I never felt a Kansas football environment like that. Most KU games, it just feels like, hey, everybody's hanging out. We're going to go to the first half of this game, and then we're going to go back outside and hang out the rest of the day. Like, people really cared about the football team and the product. And the stadium, it was really nice. Like, if you were a KU fan, if you haven't got a chance to go, I'm telling you, when you go, you'll be very, very impressed by phase 1 of the brand new stadium. We're off a little bit early today because of Royals baseball. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll catch you guys. Take care of yourself. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Ring the bell. We've